I want to tell you about a spectacular dining experience. It's Ports a Call Waterfront Dining, award-winning service and cuisine with a view of the dynamic LA harbor from every seat. Enjoy daily sunset specials as well as the South Bay's best champagne brunch. The outdoor harborside patio is a perfect setting for happy hour every weekday from 3 to 8. Ports a Call Waterfront Dining. For reservations and directions, visit portsacalldining.com or call 310-833-3553.
And if you're just joining us, you're listening to the Halloween show on Rock 50. And we're going to start our drum segue right now. This month featuring the great Lars Ulrich of Metallica. And I'm going to read some stuff from Lars's bio. Lars Ulrich was born on December the 26th, 1963 in Gentofte, Denmark. And his father was Torben Ulrich, who was actually a famous tennis player. I probably got that wrong already. His paternal grandfather was a tennis player, Einar Ulrich. So
I believe his father was too.
Oh, his father was as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Just trying to get it right. Sorry, Lars. But it's quite amazing. Have you met him, Mike? Did you interview him at any point?
I never got to interview him, but he and James came for the last day of KNAC-FM.
Oh,
so
okay.
I got to meet him
All right.
then.
So you got to meet James and Lars.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Lars is an exceptional drummer. I in the bio earlier, I wanted to read something that he says, and I feel really heartfelt about it because it reminds me of me a little bit. But he was doing an interview, okay, and he was talking about the early days with starting out with James and forming Metallica, and James originally didn't want to jam with Lars because due to the drummer's novice abilities and quote unquote, the criticism used to bother. This is Lars responding. The criticism used to bother me back in the day. I spent a lot of time overcompensating for that on the early records. But then you wake up one day and you're like, whatever, it hasn't bothered me for about 15 years. I'm no Joey Jordison, I'm no Mike Portnoy, and I have nothing but love and respect and admiration for all those guys. When I hear some of the young dudes, they blow my mind with what they can do with their feet and stuff. But it's not something that makes me go, I need to feel better about myself, so I'm going to learn how to do what they do with what I'm going to learn how to do what they do with my feet. I'm not a particularly accomplished drummer, but I am very, very good at understanding the role of drums. Next to James Hetfield's rhythm guitar, I guarantee you I'm the best guy in the world for that, and that's enough for me. So, so if you want to know anything about Lars Ulrich, then I think he just said it right there. I thought that was very poignant remarks that he made, and it's spiritually sound. I really like that. A lot of the paths that I just quoted there that Lars has passed through, I've travelled myself, and I ended up with being able to take whatever it is that whatever my abilities are. And I was able to utilize that in whatever music we did with Sabbath, or we're doing with my own bands now, and or if I jam out with anybody, I just play whatever shows up, So it's like this is what I got, But I can remember going through a period over 26 years ago, where I stopped competing. And I tried to play like other, I was influenced by the people. I can't play that, I can't do that, I can't do this, I can't do that. So I had to find out what I could do and make good use of it. And it sounds like Lars has reached that settling ground as well. And I think he does such a good job of it. On my personal notes about Lars, I'd written that His drum creations have brought the sound of Metallica to the very edge of metal spearhead. And he's a nice man, which he is. He's a very nice man. If you get a chance to meet him, and he's worthy of much praise. He's inspirational, and a must listen for the student. So go ahead, students, if you are learning drums or need to learn new techniques and stuff like that, listen to Lars, man. He's got some really good stuff that you can learn from. So I just wanted to say that about him. Let me give you before we start, we're going to be playing some Metallica songs. So just bear with me for a while longer. This is for the drummers that are listening, so I hope that doesn't sound excluding of everybody else that might be listening at this point. Just running real quickly, Lars uses Tama drums, and very good drums. I use Tama myself as well. Tama drums, where are the... I've got his sizes somewhere. Maybe I don't. I've lost the page. 10 by 8 tom, 12 by 10 tom, 16 by 14 floor tom, 16 by 16 floor tom, 22 inch by 16 bass drum. 22 inch, that surprised me. Again, for me, I use the big 28s and the 26s. But 22s keep a real tight sound, which would absolutely fit with the sounds that we're going to be hearing in just a few minutes from Metallica. And he uses 14-inch by 6.5 inches signature snare drum, which is all good stuff. Lars uses Zildjian cymbals. He's using 14-inch hi-hats, 17-inch crashes, 18 crash, 19-inch crash, and then he uses an 18-inch China, 20-inch Oriental crash, and he also uses a 22-inch custom ping occasionally, so depending on where it needs to go. Drum heads are Remo, and that I think pretty much covers everything. He's using the Iron Cobras by Tama, which are excellent for bass drum work. So that's about as much as I can cover. The only thing I have to say now is enter Sandman. It's what really gets to me is the atmosphere on that song. I think the atmosphere is just you know what it reminds me of, Mike? It reminds me of the heady days back in 1968, 69, when we were listening to a lot of the underground stuff at the time, because it became very popular after that. But there's something about the atmosphere on that song, and I don't know whether the band, that would be Metallica, all four members of the band, whether they consciously went after that or not, I don't know. But usually I don't think musicians are that smart or that... you know, it's just like, well, let's create that, you know. But they usually create the song, and then what the gifts that come from the song are usually the uncreated things, which actually are the most powerful sometimes. And the atmosphere on that song, it just blows me away every time. It really wrenches my heart. I love the song. The song I'm talking about, for those of you who are listening, is Nothing Else Matters, and that was by Metallica. You've just heard a full set of Metallica songs, starting with Enter Sandman, Master of Puppets, Until It Sleeps, All Nightmare Long, all brilliant songs. I wanted to bring up one poignant point was the track Until It Sleeps, and we were talking about that because that was I think it's on the Load album. I could be wrong, or Reload, I'm not sure. I think it's Load. And the sound quality on that particular track is just absolutely amazing. I was just really blown away by Lars's drum sound, and I just think it's just very interesting to listen to sonically, and just he got all of the drums in there. You can hear all the bottom end, all the bass drums, all the floor toms, and he got all his highs in there as well. So I'm not sure. We ought to probably go on the computer and find out who was the production on that. Who did that production. And I think it was, again, the Load album. So For Metallica fans, you've been listening to Metallica. It's our drum segue. We're actually talking about Lars Ulrich, and he was the drummer in Metallica, and we just heard some brilliant work from Lars. It's just there's so many things drum-wise in all of those songs that are departure points where other drummers can look at it and go, well, this didn't exist before, and then Lars created it, and we can all listen to it and go, wow. You know, and we can nick some stuff as well, you know. Grab Lars's stuff, you know. But I love the guy. I think he's just absolutely incredible. I'm going to finish the segue with Lars by saying this. I sighed a deep sigh of relief when I heard the Black Album. Everything musically had seemed to be distorted feng shui until I heard Lars and Metallica landing firmly with a statement that announced "this way." And that's how it felt before. You know where the music scene was a little, during the early 80s, and things were kind of like, oh, we got this band and we got that going on, and I was in bad shape, I was kind of like coming off Sabbath, and we've been through all the Sabbath years and touring and grinding. And it was 1980, and I was just waking up into a new life, I guess, and I was looking around for music, and then I heard a couple of Metallica's early albums, and then I heard the Black Album, and I thought, oh my God. And it seemed to me like it had the same effect that the White Album, the Beatles' White Album had on me. And the Metallica's Black Album, when I heard that and I heard Lars's playing, and I just was like, wow, we've really, something really neat has been accomplished here. So I think, and I like it. It's pointing this way, guys. This is the way we're going. And it seemed like there was a multitude of music that followed then, and we've got this incredible heavy metal thing that we have today. I mean, it's just like, over the last, last 20 years, longer than that, actually. So, anyway, I really enjoyed the set. Did you like it?
Had a great time.
You had a great time?
Yeah.
Okay.
You saw me over here.
Yeah, I did. I saw your head banging.
Yeah,
you naughty person, you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Head bang, head bang, head bang, head bang. And headbang some more. So we're going to move on. Thanks, Lars. Thanks, Lars, for being who you are, for playing what you did, and I wish you much continued success, and I love you, and all the best, and all the best to the guys in the band.
What's next, guys?
Amazing Grace. Yeah, I brought this wonderful old standard in. When I say old, it's 200 and something years old. And I tell my students that sometimes songs come from these amazingly deep places. This chap had 200 and something slaves, and he had a religious coming of, I don't know, a moment, and he set them all free. And
you know the story behind it?
Yeah, it's incredible.
Oh, cool.
And it's got gospel elements that you kind of hear in the South, kind of antebellum gospel things.
Right.
But the moment of kind of this sort of intense realization of a wrong that he'd done, and he righted it by setting free all the slaves, and then he wrote this song. So whenever I play this song, I'm thinking in terms of, wow, why is this song so great? Why it's so captivating? And I think sometimes songs about love that we're going to play later come from, a little bit of personal agony or something. But I think that I truly believe that music is from these deeper places that we get to as humans in our thought patterns.
I love that. Soulful.
Yeah.
Down deep in the soul.
And then instead of B minor 7, that's going to be F13.
All right, here we go.
You have a name to this?
Amazing Grace.
Yeah.
Amazing Grace, of course. Amazing Grace. With Richard Smith and Blake Aaron on the Blake Aaron Live.
Richard Smith, you guys.
Oh, man, Blake Aaron.
You're listening to Blake Aaron Live. That's Richard Smith and Blake Aaron dueling guitars with Amazing Grace. That's awesome.
Dueling gospel guitars. Isn't that fun? It's like a whole... I came in with this music, and you changed it into this awesome 6/8 thing that I hadn't even thought of doing. It's just so much fun. Music is so much fun. I mean,
That's because it's magical,
crazy
man.
Fun.
Yeah, magical things just happen to take place. And we get into the next hour. Speaking of magic, we got much more.
I want to tell you about a spectacular dining experience. It's Ports a Call Waterfront Dining, award-winning service and cuisine with a view of the dynamic LA harbor from every seat. Enjoy daily sunset specials, as well as the South Bay's best champagne brunch. The outdoor harborside patio is a perfect setting for happy hour every weekday from 3 to 8. Ports a Call Waterfront Dining. For reservations and directions, visit portsacalldining.com or call 310-833-3553.
Welcome to Living Out Loud. I'm Barbara Venezia, my co-host Renee Horsch.
Hey, Barbara.
Hey, Renee. So this is our 6th podcast.
I know. I can't believe it. We've already done 6. We've got a half a dozen down. I love it.
I know. It sounds much better when you say half a dozen.
I know, doesn't it? Yeah.
And it's our holiday show.
I know. Woohoo!
Merry Christmas. Woohoo!
Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah to our Jewish friends out there.
Yeah. Merry Christmas to everybody. Today we have a very exciting show. We're going to interview actor and author and comedian Leslie Jordan.
I know. I can't wait.
He's pretty amazing. And then you have Julie Newmar calling in today.
Yeah, she's my glamour. We always had to bring glamour into the show somehow because glamour is the common thread between you and me and all the beautiful ladies. So so she's gonna bring a little bit of glamour into the show. I know she's gonna purr for us.
And then we've also got security specialist Eric Peterson. He's gonna be in the studio with us.
Awesome, that's great. He's gonna tell us how to be safe over the holidays.
And yeah, he will. He's gonna give us some good tips. And since Christmas is right around the corner, we'll be chatting with our friends in Ohio, Jeff Lang from MyGayDecorator.com, who will tell us do's and don'ts of Christmas decorating. Of course, our favorite drag queen, DWI, will be calling in.
With baked goods.
With baked goods, and she has a peppermint bark recipe she's going to be sharing with us that I've actually had. She's made it at my house. It's quite good. And then my girlfriend, Buffy Moore from Las Vegas, is going to be giving us some interesting experiences that you can give as Christmas gifts.
I love that. That's a great idea.
Yeah. So, but before we get to Leslie and everything, what have you been doing since the last podcast?
Okay, well, since our last podcast, I've been very busy as usual. As you know me, my life is so exciting.
Right. You're so Hollywood.
Oh yeah, slow down. Let's see. In November, I interviewed various celebrities for the John Wayne Cancer Institute, which is one of my clients. Gloria Jebbia, she's the president for the ABCs, which is Associates of Breast and Prostate Cancer Studies, and they raise funds, for cancer research. So that's a really good thing because cancer affects everybody, at some point. I mean,
so when you say that you interview them, are you on a red carpet?
Yeah, I'm on a red carpet, and
is it really red?
It's red. Yeah, we do it. She does it right, Yeah. We got the step and repeat. We're at the Beverly Hilton, and so it's fun. It's not broadcast, unfortunately. I do it for her archives, and so that way she's had me doing this. I think since you and I have met. Like back in 2000, I think. So I've been on. I'm in all throughout her archives, and I've been interviewing various celebrities, and this event had Annalyn McCord from 90210. And she received an award, like a Spirit of Entertainment award that Gloria gives out, and then also she had Billy D. Williams.
Really?
Yeah. So that was kind of cool. He did. I think he was like in one of those Star Wars films. I think Return of the Jedi.
Oh,
I
okay.
think, yeah. And then he was on Dynasty.
Right, right.
Yeah, he
We
played-
always seem to go back to Dynasty.
Everything goes full circle to Dynasty for
Right.
some reason. I don't know why, but that's part of my world. And he played Dominique Devereaux's love interest, who was actually
Yes,
Diane Carroll.
Diane Carroll,
Yeah,
that's
they were
right.
the token black couple on the show. You
Right.
know? They're being politically correct back in the '80s, you know. And then also I interviewed Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Carlton Jebbia. She was on last season, so.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of fun. I had a good time doing that. And then, let's see, I also worked with celebrity fashion stylist Philip Block. And together we styled Mary J. Blige for the AMAs, the American Music Awards, which were held November 23rd.
So when you say you styled Mary J. Blige, what do you do? Do you pick out the dresses, her hair, her makeup? What does it consist of when you walk into somebody and say, "Hey, I'm a stylist"?
Well, when you're a stylist, it could be many things. It could be just strictly the clothing, or it could be from head to toe. You know, so in this case, it was just the gown, and
Okay.
And then she had a team of makeup and hair people, and then.
Was the gown Mark Zanino?
It was a Mark Zanino gown, yeah. So that was kind of fun, you know. That's
Yeah.
great. And but yeah, it could be from head to toe, and a lot of times it goes into jewelry and shoes and handbags, and you know, and then you're working with various different designers, and
That sounds
you
like
know,
fun.
It is fun, you know. It's all about product placement on that red carpet because, as you know, it's like advertising, really.
Right,
so
right.
you know, everybody's like scammering to get their goods on. You know, I mean, the Oscars is nuts. You know, everybody's under contract. They're all employees like of Dior or Chanel or you know, Valentino.
Glamorous.
Yeah, it's very glamorous. So that was kind of fun. That was on November 23rd, and then you know, Thanksgiving weekend, I went to Las Vegas to see my good friend Joan Collins in her one-woman show. Oh, it was fun with her. And after,
You know, I went to see that.
Did you? That's right, you
I
did.
went to
You were there
see
the night
day
before.
Right, the night before I went to see that, and I thought it was really interesting. Because she talked about her entire history, her whole life story. And they had screens up, and you could see her film clips. And I wish that she would have spent more time talking about her portion of her life where she was an author.
Yeah, I know. She didn't really touch base on that too
No,
much.
she talked about the lawsuit she got in with the publisher about her book.
It was Random House, yeah.
But she didn't go into how many books. And when I was there, when I was waiting online to get in, standing behind me was her sister, Jackie Collins.
Oh, no way.
Yes,
Oh
her
my
sister,
God.
Jackie Collins.
Jackie's awesome. She's great.
And then
She's fun.
she had a whole entourage of people, and I was going to turn around and
you
say,
should have.
"Hey,
You
can I
should
get
have
a
said,
selfie?"
"Hey."
And then I thought, "Oh gosh, that's so corny."
No,
And I
hey, in
didn't.
today's world, it's all about selfies, and everybody, and I think the celebrities enjoy part of that because they know how strong social media is. You know, like you and I before the show were like
Right,
cracking out our social media.
Right, go visit our Facebook pages, visit my Facebook page and Renee's Facebook
Yeah.
page. We put all our pictures up there as we
Mine's
tape our
open for
show.
everybody. Yeah, check it out. Befriend me. I like collecting friends. So
Now, did you do the clothes or style anything for Joan Collins' one-woman show?
yeah, we did. We did. She wore little silver satin cigarette pants and like
I
an
like
off-the-shoulder
those
blouse.
sequin
Yeah.
silver pants she had on.
Those are groovy, huh?
Yeah.
Those
So,
would look good on you.
they
I think you could rock
would.
those out for the holiday.
I would love those pants.
Shake it down with Stan, right? Yeah.
And then she had on a really pretty peach gown with feathers and
That actually was a vintage gown from like 1984. And she squeezed herself into it, and
probably not her best choice. Though.
Yeah, you know, it could photograph well, but I think moving on stage maybe not the right choice. But
No, and she had
the
trouble
color was
sitting
great.
in it.
Oh yeah, she did.
Because she was sitting in this big red chair, and then she was standing up, and she was talking to everybody and explaining her story. And in the beginning, I felt she was a little too scripted because she was reading
From a
what it seemed-
teleprompter,
from
right?
a teleprompter. So I felt like I was in the library and I was hearing an author, read from their book. As the show progressed, she got more conversational.
Yeah, I think
And-
she warmed up, or like she got
Right.
her groove on. You know?
Right.
It's so funny because like I know her so well, and I always find that the early years the most fascinating when she came to Hollywood under contract at 20th Century Fox as a starlet, and the stories that she has about that was when the studio system controlled people,
Right.
and which is really kind of interesting because in today's world girls
But
are
some
getting
of that stuff I just wasn't buying, Renee. She's talking about the casting couch and how she didn't participate in that, and I'm sitting there going bullshit.
Yeah. She swears she didn't. That's what she tells me. So I'm like, okay, well maybe that's why her career didn't, her movie career didn't take off the way Marilyn Monroe's did. I don't know. They both were at 20th Century Fox. But the funny thing is, she, I wanted to hear more about. Warren Beatty and Ryan O'Neal. She dated all these like
all
amazing
these
guys.
great
Yeah,
guys.
Marlon Brando. And
she just kind of
she
skipped over that part.
Yeah.
Our audience was mostly gay, and so they were just
Imagine that.
just a huge gay following, and so they were really, really into her. I mean, they were just hooting and hollering.
Oh, no way,
It was
really?
great. And then I know that you had arranged for me to go backstage, and the line was so long.
Oh, you're kidding.
Because she'd been on our show, the week before,
right.
and I really did want to get a picture with her and say hello, but it was so long that I just decided, forget it.
Well, yeah, I know. Well, another time. Well, you met already in the showroom.
Right. So that was good. But it was fun. It was fun.
Vegas was fun. That was good. That was a great time. And then, December kicked off with Mark Steen and I were featured on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Again,
I know. Well, we were featured on The Real Housewives of Orange County. Now we've crossed over into our hood. We're in Beverly Hills.
You are just you and those housewives,
Oh
man.
my God, I know we can't get rid of them. This time, it was good. It brought us more attention, and that's what it was really all about: glamorizing women with our couture designs.
But are they really as obnoxious as you see on television?
When we deal with them, they're all great to us because they want something. They're getting something, so they're like actually on great behavior with us. So there's none of that chair throwing or cat fighting, because
it looks so chaotic.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's Orange County or Beverly Hills,
or New Jersey or Atlanta or whatever.
I mean, I live in Orange County, and I just do not know people like that.
Neither do I.
And I live in Newport Beach.
No, you live in a gorgeous area of town. My God, yeah.
And I don't know women like this.
I've been in the Los Angeles Beverly Hills area for over 20 years, and I don't know anybody that carries on the way they do. Yeah. So
well, I'm glad you guys were on the show, though.
Yeah, it was great. It was fun, and I've had a lot of people were blowing up my Facebook. That oh my God, I saw you. They were just like freaking out. It was pretty funny. But then also this month, let's see, I went to support my friend, celebrity hairstylist Chaz Dean at his annual Christmas party, raising toys for tots. It was a great party filled with entertainers. It was fun, catching up with Lisa Rinna and her husband Harry Hamlin, David Charvet, and he was from Baywatch. David Charvet, one of the good-looking,
So
lifeguards.
does he still good-looking?
He looks fantastic. Yeah, he looks gorgeous, and his wife is even more gorgeous, Brooke Burke. She was Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars,
Yeah.
Sure.
And then Morgan Fairchild was there, and she's still looking beautiful. And she said that she'll call in to do our show.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
well,
not
maybe
today,
she'll
but
be on our 2015 roster.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
We get them lined up for 2015.
We love hearing from beautiful women.
Yeah, I know. That's what it's all about, right?
And then you went to see Leslie Jordan's show.
Yeah, I
Speaking
did.
of one,
yeah.
Joan Collins did the one-woman show. He's doing the one-man
one-man.
show. How was it?
Oh my God! It was like it's so funny because I see him every morning. We're Starbucks buddies. Every morning on my way to work, he's there, doing his thing and his social medias and all that stuff. And I'm popping in there to get my iced Americano. And so we catch up. And so to see him in action in this one-man show was really great. I mean, he's got moves, he dances, and he, that one can bust out some great.
Well, I'm a fan.
Yeah, he's
a
very
fan.
funny, very entertaining.
When he did some things for AIDS Services Foundation in Orange County, I actually got to meet him, and his shows for ASF were really, really wonderful. And he's actually on the phone right now with us.
Oh.
Leslie, how are you today?
Hey.
Can you hear me? Listen to this. My cold. I'd be down there with you, but I'm wrapped in a blanket, sipping Theraflu.
Oh,
no.
gosh.
You sound like Brenda Vaccaro.
I know. I want it to always sound like this. I have a whole new career.
Well, it's actually very sexy.
Yeah.
When you hang up from us, you should start making phony phone calls.
I should.
Start making those nasty calls. Yeah.
Nasty ones. I wouldn't know what to say. I could just make noises.
So Renee was telling me that he saw your one-man show. And tell me a little bit about that show. You dance in it. He says you have great rhythm.
Oh, well, about 2 years ago, the oldest gay and lesbian theater in Los Angeles, which is called The Celebration, asked me, could I do a show for them all of January and February. And I had just gotten off the phone with my manager, and I said, you know, there's 68 pilots. Why wasn't I auditioning for TV pilots? He said, because last year you were in London for all of January, and then you were in New York, February, March. You've got to stay in town. And I said, perfect. So I'll stay in town, and I'll do this a show they want me to do. They said, we want something totally original. Well, I've done these one-person shows all over the country, all over the world, the West End of London, all over Canada. I do Mexico. I go all over the place. But I thought I've just regurgitated my life for the last 20 years. I have nothing left to say. But I was home, and my sweet mother had this collection of slides from the 1950s. My mother was the baby of 7 children. My daddy was the baby of 4. So when I was born, I was their oldest. I was photographed relentlessly. And my mother had kept all these slides, and my sister took the slides to have them transferred into pictures, and the color, it must be different color process these days than back then, because back then it was like a 3-color process, very vivid. You know, these beautiful pictures of me under the Christmas tree, and I saw this amazing journey of a little gay boy and his mother.
And that's what Fruit Fly is about?
The Fruit Fly is about my mother. She's just horrified. My mother's so private.
Well, you know, it's funny because I read your book, My Trip Down the Pink Carpet, and you're very, very open about a lot of aspects of your life in the book. And I was wondering, how does your family feel about you being so public with that?
Well, I'm moving towards a point in my life where I want to stop all that. You know, I don't know what that was about. The thing is, when you put everything you've got into a book and then you read it years later, you think, what was I thinking? But my mother said to me once, she said, Leslie Allen, if I live to be 105, I'll never understand this deep-seated need you have to air your dirty laundry. She said, why can't you just whisper it to a therapist?
His mom's actually really beautiful. She looks like she's got the Barbara Sinatra hair and everything.
Well,
and he even
there's
talks about her
pictures of
Barbara
her
Sinatra hair. Yeah.
in the book.
She is. She's 80 now, and listen, she is so beautiful.
Her game's
I was
on.
just home for 10 days, and she's just stunning, but she's so private. So what I do now is I just don't let her come see my show.
Okay. Now, I was looking at your website, which audience members can go to, lesliejordan.com, and there's all your shows, Unwrapped, Southern Holiday Stories. You'll be in Edmonton with that.
Right.
And then
they don't keep that up as well as my Facebook. That's where people should go. If you're on Facebook, I have the best page, and I write on it every single day.
Okay.
I have a book pending on my Facebook post. From my Facebook post, I almost have a book deal. And that's the official page of Leslie Jordan.
Okay, so though our listeners should go to Leslie's Facebook page.
That's just Leslie.
60,000 followers.
Oh my
Me, just this old lumbering dinosaur that didn't even start doing it till a couple of years ago.
Well, you know, that social media, it certainly does creep up on you.
And
Well,
from the point I started doing that, I have never played except here in L.A. It's so hard to get audiences in L.A. I can go to Atlanta, Georgia, and sell out a 1,200-seat auditorium. Come to L.A. and play for 77 friends I beg to come. People are the worst in Los Angeles. But when I'm out on the road, all I have to do is say, hey, guys, I'm in Edmonton, Canada. On Boxing Day, bam, we sell out. The power of social media is amazing.
Now, you have so many different shows. What's different? What would we see in Unwrapped that, let's say, we wouldn't see in Southern Holiday Stories?
Well, Unwrapped is what I worked very long ago. I worked with Miss Lily Tomlin, who's just the queen of one-person shows, and she produced my last show. She produced it. She took it to New York. She took it to London. I mean, try going to New York where the marquee says Lily Tomlin Jane Wagner presents. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
She said to me a long time ago, when we were working together on this ill-fated HBO series called 12 Miles of Bad Road.
I missed that.
Bloodworth Thomason wrote it for me, Lily, and Mary Kay Place. A bunch of us she wrote it for. But anyway, HBO just hated it. I mean, we thought it was going to keep us afloat for years. We thought it was brilliant. They thought it was too broad. I thought, well, yeah, right. Put the words of Linda Bloodworth Thomason and Leslie Jordan and Lily Tomlin's mouths. What are you expecting? The John Adams Benny series? But anyway, I worked with Lily, and Lily said to me, are you making money on your one-person shows? And I said, well, no, it's pretty expensive. It's $1,600 just to ship my set.
Oh, wow.
Well, she just spit her tea halfway across the room. She said, your set? Oh, my God, honey, no. You don't need a set. Just she said, when I travel, she said, I have a lavalier mic, the Madonna mic.
Oh, yeah.
You can plug in anywhere, and a turtleneck.
That makes it easy.
So I said, well, I'm going to leave the turtleneck to the lesbian, but I'll carry my mic.
Well, we were just talking before you came on the air that both of us went to Las Vegas to see Joan Collins' one-woman show. And I was reading somewhere that you actually got a part in a sitcom that was originally written for her.
Exactly. I went into audition. Will and Grace had written an episode where Joan Collins was going to steal Rosario the maid away from Karen Walker,
Mm-hmm.
Megan Mullally's character. And then they were going to confront each other, and Karen Walker was going to say, you've done the worst thing a woman can do to another woman. You've stolen my maid. And they were going to get into a great big takeoff on that dynasty cat fight.
Sure.
And pull each other's wigs off. And at the last minute, they came in and they said, Miss, you can't pull Miss Collins' wig off. And they said, but that's the joke. I mean, we're setting it all up to. They said, well, it's not going to happen. And they got rid of her.
Oh, my God.
And they kept the same name, Beverly Leslie. And so I went in and auditioned. Now, what's interesting about it, I've never met Joan, but we have followed each other all over the world. She'll do her one-person show at the I always go before her. I'm her warm-up.
Okay.
At the Leicester Square Playhouse in London, I'll do, and every year I'll say, who's next week? They go, Joan Collins. We're trotting her out again. So we've never met. Our paths have never crossed, but do you know I've never heard really a bad thing about her?
No, she's quite delightful. She was on our show. She was on the last show we did.
Yeah.
You're
actually.
kidding.
Yeah. See, you're following her.
And you know what? You're following her again, Leslie, unfortunately.
Oh. Next time, ask her about that. Say, we heard this rumor that Will and Grace had you, and it had something to do with a wig not coming off. Just see what she says.
Oh, well, we will. So 2015 is around the corner. Movies, TV shows. Will you bring your act to Las Vegas?
I can't. I only go where I can make lots of money. I'm just at my age, and I'm not being selfish. I want my mother to be able to go to her grave knowing her children are set.
Okay.
And if I have to sell myself, if they have to trot me out like an aging show pony from one end of this country to the other, I'm going to do it. So I can't make money in Vegas. The rents are too high. It's just too hard to get a crowd. I can't make money in New York, and I can't really make money in L.A. So, I just have to hit the boonies. I've done LA. I've done Vegas many, many, many times.
Maybe we can go with him to Ohio. We've got friends in Ohio that are on the show.
We've got friends in Ohio, yeah. In fact, DWI, she's going to be calling in.
She's our drag queen.
She's our drag queen, and I think you've met her several times. She says she knows you, but maybe that's a story for another time.
I don't remember, but, I don't remember a lot.
Well, Leslie, thank you so much for calling in today, and I hope you feel better.
Yeah, me too.
I'll give you the date. I'm going to be in San Diego at Martini's Look on my website. That's the next time I'm in Orange County or anywhere around there. I do Martinis on 4th, which is a blast.
Oh my God, let's go down.
Okay, that sounds great.
Hoedown. It's just a homo hoedown. We just pack them in. But that's the next time I'm in Orange County. But wait for it. It's in February. I know that. But it's Martinis on 4th.
All
Okay.
right.
They'll be trotting me out.
Well, feel better, and hey, ho, 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 Merry Christmas.
Merry
Sorry
Christmas.
I couldn't drive down and be there in person.
Well, you know what? Maybe you can come down and visit us in the new year.
Yeah.
Before my Martinis on 4th.
Yeah, let's do it, maybe.
There we go.
Yeah, we'll set it up.
Bye-bye.
All right,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye. Thanks, Leslie.
He is
my
so
God.
funny.
Isn't that great?
He's
Yeah.
great, and what a trooper.
I know.
With his little hoarse voice.
I know, he was getting warmed up there. I think it was like kicking in.
I know.
Huh?
I actually liked his hoarse voice. It was kind of
It's
sexy.
kind of Vegas. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Well, in the studio with us is security specialist Eric Peterson. Thanks for visiting with us today, Eric.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, Eric. Yeah.
So, Eric, it's holiday season, and I'm seeing on television where people are stealing holiday packages. Give us some tips for holiday security.
You know, these days you got to be hyper vigilant. I think the biggest thing is a lot of people are putting packages in cars and, you know, plain view and things like that. So you got to try to hide things, and don't try to do it in a public place. Try to put it in your trunk in another location before you arrive at that location, whether it be a mall or something like that. And oftentimes, I think a lot of people are preoccupied. Oh, did I get this person a gift? Did I do this? And they've got a lot of bags in their hands, and they may not be aware of their purse or their phone or, you know, little things like that somebody's going to seek out and take from you. With respect to packages, you really got to, you know, maybe even have somebody at your house that's going to accept that package with a signature, or maybe get it sent to the location, you know, like the FedEx location or the drop location. You go get it, because that's going to be one of the top ones. These criminals are following these people around that are delivering them and just going right after it. And
Really?
There's been some recent stories where they're videotaping the criminals, the homeowners, and kind of putting fake packages out for them. But it's something that you can't really prevent.
Wow.
You know.
When I was a kid, I never heard of this kind of stuff.
Well, it's interesting because Mark Sanino, he always was. People are always getting a hold of his American Express card. It's so weird. I don't know if they're like digging through the trash or something, but we found that there was like these. He got these charges on his American Express card for like $30,000, and it was like for a purple mink coat. And
Really?
yeah, they actually these criminals are so crafty that they had all the information of you know, his home and everything, and they would actually have that purple mink coat delivered to the house, but they were hanging out by our bushes, and they would, like, when the UPS guy would come up, they would be there to retrieve it, and we had no idea. It was bizarre.
That's crazy.
Is that crazy? Yeah.
So security specialists, what does that really mean?
We handle everything, whether it's personal security, something for your house, business, everything, investigations. So yeah, it's just all over the map, because computer, reputation, everything that you can imagine. There's so many aspects.
So computer reputation, can you really clean up your reputation on the online?
With the right amount of money, apparently you can. So yeah.
Really?
Yeah. There's all these little niches in the computer internet realm that will hide people and things like that. So there's always somebody that's popping up that can offer a service.
So personal security, are you talking about being a bodyguard to someone?
Executive protection to somebody that maybe have gotten some threats or something like that, or somebody that's in the news, somebody that's a celebrity or a high net worth individual, something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you take care of people who are stalking?
Who are being stalked, who are being threatened, maybe have a lot of valuable stuff in their homes and don't want any sort of issues. Maybe some crime has happened in their area. It doesn't matter if you're in the richest area or the middle class area. There is going to be crime, whether you're behind a gate or not.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah.
People think, well, I live in a gated community, so it's not going to happen. But there's crime everywhere.
Exactly.
So during the holidays, does property crime increase?
I think the car burglaries increase, and the property crime is always going to be consistent. I think with that more opportunity, and if you're not putting up those layers and not being hyper vigilant and having your head on a swivel, so to speak, then yes, the opportunity. If you create that opportunity, it'll continue. So, to answer your question, yes.
So when we go to the mall, see, that's what it's easy. I I go back and forth with this. Should I go to the mall and shop, but I can only carry so much, and then I have to go back to the car, and then I have to go back inside again. And so I always think, is someone watching me, or is it better for me to shop online?
I like shopping online. It's convenient, but as long as it's a well lit area, depending on where you're parked and where you're going and things like that. And there's always extra security during that time. But I think a lot of times we'll have a false sense of security, whether it's during the holiday season or not, and we're putting laptops on. And I'm guilty of some of this stuff until I wake up in the middle of the night and go and get it out of my car. But you're putting stuff that people will walk by and smash that window and grab, whether it's a laptop, iPad, whatever the case may be, phone.
Yeah.
And I see it all the time. I mean, we could just walk through a parking lot right now and we'll be able to see it. So in a holiday season, yeah, you're going to be preoccupied, but get that stuff out of the view of these opportunists.
So for our listeners, give us some tips on security for shopping online. What should we be looking for and do and not do?
Shopping online, I always use a pretty good website, whether it's Amazon or something like that, and you got your credit card, you're going to have your protections from them, hopefully, and you have they beef up security so much with codes and logging in from different devices and things like that.
Yeah.
So just be aware that it's a good source that you're buying from. I'm always skeptical of some of these other sources.
Well, thank you so much for sharing some tips with us, Eric.
No problem. Thanks
Ho,
for
ho,
having me.
ho.
All right, Eric. Yeah.
And
Hey.
speaking of Christmas, I wonder how Julie Newmar's spending Christmas.
I don't know. Is she? I think we've got her online.
At home.
At home.
Hey, Julie.
In the whole world. Yes.
Welcome to Living Out Loud with Barbara and Renee. How are you?
Hello, Barbara and Renee. Are you having a good time?
We are. We're having a wonderful time. And our show today is about Christmas. And we just finished talking with Eric Peterson, who is giving us tips on security for Christmas and things to do and don't.
I got a joke for Christmas.
You do? What's your Christmas joke?
It goes like this. Our dog loves the Christmas tree. He looks at it, and it brings tears to the floor.
Ooh.
Well, if that's not good, I have another one. For Christmas, they just came out with a battery-operated battery. But the batteries aren't included.
Oh, but I like that one. That's good.
Now, do you have any Christmas
Traditions?
Oh, it's all around and about family and just doing the things that we've done 1,000 times. But there's something so wonderful and unexpected that comes out of it. It's not the things or the stuff. It's just the doing of it, I think.
It's the gathering in the family, right?
So,
yeah.
So do you have a list for Santa? What would you like for Christmas?
Oh, no, I have everything. I have the world, I have admiration, I have love, I have a beautiful house, I have people that are so sweet and dear around me. I love, my family is just divine. It's well nigh perfect.
Oh, we like that. Well,
yeah.
what would Catwoman want for Christmas? Let's ask that question, huh?
Oh, well, let's see. Music.
Music.
Live
Ooh.
music, yes.
'Cause she was kind of a spicy gal, right?
Ooh, no, to go and hear a great singer or there is a great singer coming up in next week here in L.A. Is this for the people in L.A.?
Yeah, we're listened to in L.A.
Oh, well, then let me see. Well, any kind of fabulous live classical music. That's what I love.
Oh, great.
Well, Julie, I was a big fan when you were on Batman, and nowadays all the Marvel comics and Dell comics are coming to life on television with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and The Flash and The Arrow. Do you watch any of those comic book shows?
Well, I'm frankly so happy that Warner Brothers finally came out with the show that we did, the original Batman 66, it's called, which is in DVD and in Blu-ray. I mean, people have been asking for that, and I could never explain why it wasn't available, but now it's out, and it's really beautiful to see on your big television screens.
Oh, well, that sounds like a great Christmas gift.
Yeah, that would be a great Christmas gift.
I wish they'd send me my free copy.
Right?
Warners, please.
Well, I think we better dial that Warner Brothers in and get her that copy, right, Barbara?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, Barbara, I don't know if you realize, but Julie Newmar was actually in a music video with George Michael. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Julie, can you tell us a little bit about that? That was really exciting.
Oh, it was when I was modeling for Thierry Mugler.
Yeah.
And George and Thierry put on this phenomenal act, and it all happened in Paris. So Thierry Mugler, the great designer of gorgeous women's clothes like you, he brought in 100. I mean, there were at least 100, the most beautiful models in the whole world. They came to Paris. I got to go to Paris, and for 3 days and 3 nights, we filmed this DVD, this show.
It was called Too Funky was the song. George Michael's, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I remember going on stage. It was 3 a.m. Oh, my gracious. Well, never mind.
Let me tell you, you rocked that runway. You were busting moves, and I think you were like wearing some amazing cat
Well, you know
suit.
why I was busting my breeches? Well, no, it was really my waist cincher. Thierry had me in 3 corsets, one on top of the other.
Wow.
And none of them had elastic.
Oh,
You
my.
just could not breathe. So, but that's why I threw my legs up over my head.
Well, you know, I'm looking at your website, julienewmarwrites.com.
Oh, really?
Yes, I have it up on my laptop as we're talking. And I love that you are 80 years old, it says here.
No, I'm not.
It says on being 80, it's
81.
time to read.
got last
okay.
year's.
So you need to update your website.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, it's Facebook. That's where the action is.
And she's up on her social media, Barbara. She's got the Facebook going, and
wow.
Yeah, definitely Facebook. And wonderful thing happened to me. My brother, my beloved brother in San Francisco, the Harvard PhD. Oh my God, he's so smart. Anyway, he owns a vineyard. This is to die for. He finally named a wine after me.
Oh,
yeah, isn't that great?
What's the wine's name?
Julie Newmar. Oh, it's a Chardonnay. Thank you for asking. It comes from Heron Lake. You know, big birds, heron, Heron. Heron Lake Vineyard. And it's just come out in the last 3 days. So,
well, that sounds like another good Christmas gift.
That would be a great
We're gonna
gift
add
for
that.
everybody.
I wonder if he'll send me someone like Warner Brothers. No, it's not for this Christmas. I don't think it's. Well, maybe it is. Oh, I better find out.
So, Julie, what are you up to these days? Any projects?
What am I up to? Oh my gosh, I make little short films and videos. I write essays, and then Facebook is really an amazing explosion of ideas coming in and out. It's wonderful. I have my own real estate business. I'm a single mother. I support a family of 5, 2 of them handicapped.
Well, I see, I'm on your Facebook now, and I see that you have 131,000 followers.
That's pretty amazing, isn't
That
it?
is pretty amazing.
That's incredible.
Oh, it's not as many as my friend Dita Von Teese.
Oh.
It's over 1 million. But she takes off her clothes.
Right. So
Well, there you go. How can you nudity? It's hard to
right. It's hard to
compete with that, right? It's unfair advantage sometimes, I think, right?
Well, yes, but the mountain's kind of cold outside.
Right.
You know what, Barbara, I have to say that I've been in her lovely home. It's beautiful. She lives in Brentwood, and she's got the most gorgeous garden. And you've got quite the green thumb. You're flipping and dipping flowers all over the place. It's incredible.
I have 4 flowers named after me now.
Isn't that great?
Isn't that lovely? Oh, I love gardening. I have a rose and a begonia and a daylily, out of this world daylily. Oh, my goodness. So beautiful.
So, Julie, on your website, there's a section that says how to be a great beauty.
Yes.
What tips can you give to our listening audience?
Yeah, we love that.
Well, I'm noticing especially on television, the women's voices could use a little upgrading. They just sound like chickens on the way to the abattoir. I think less slang, maybe. Voices are very important.
And
That's
what's
I-
your best kept beauty secret? Like, what do you do before you go to bed? Do you have a great eye cream? Do you use? I mean, I'm always slapping on Chanel eye cream before I hit the sheets, and I'm trying to roll back.
Wait a minute, I don't know. You tell me. What should I do?
No, I mean, you look gorgeous, and I've always just been, Barbara and I always like to, with all of our beautiful women that have been calling in, we always like to find out their secrets so we can apply them to ourselves, right,
yes,
Barbara?
Yes, we're into staying beautiful.
Barbara and I are a work in progress here. We're always like, what can we do now, right?
I love that. We're all a work in progress.
Right?
We're just learning from everybody every single day.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, gosh, Julie, this has been all kinds of fun having you on, and
you have a very Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
I am, and thank you, and you are too, right?
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
We're buying the Christmas tree, and I hope it smells good.
Yeah.
Not the kind they spray.
No, we want organic. Yeah, that's the way to go.
Trees.
Yeah.
Nope.
All right, doll. Well, thank you so much, and I'll be calling you, and we'll go out for lunch soon.
Oh, much love.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye. Thank you.
I can't believe we just talked to Julie Newmar.
Isn't that great?
That is very cool.
I'm like, I try to dial it in, babe. Like,
you are the best. Oh, my gosh,
God.
I'm like in the vapors now.
Oh my God! Oh my God! We even got a purr out of her. That was great.
I know.
Huh?
I was hoping she would do the purr thing.
And we didn't even have to ask for that. She just she delivered. Yeah.
Right. Well, her voice is so interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of like I have to agree
sultry.
with. Yeah, it's very sultry, and that's the thing I have to say. Like with the generation of actresses like Joan Collins, Tina Louise, Julie Newmar. They're all of the same generation. The studio really groomed those women on how to get out of a limousine, how to speak, how to hold a cocktail, how to smoke a cigarette,
right.
how to dress, how to behave, and they polished them. And
yeah.
I think that the actresses of today, they don't have that. And maybe what she's saying about the voices, maybe they do need to polish them up a little bit, or they don't have all that finishing that the studios
on her
taught them.
website, it's really interesting. I was looking through it, and she does say on her How to Be a Great Beauty that beauty is more than skin deep, and she's got a section about body and dress and face and hair and skin tips, and she does talk about voice. And so it's interesting. I'm going to read this when I've got a little more time. Do we have our My Gay Decorator to give us tips? I think Mike was talking, and
Mike?
I wasn't paying attention. Jeff, are you there?
I am. Good evening.
Hey,
Good
Jeff.
evening. Hey, we've been having a good time here.
You have just a great lineup tonight. I've been listening, and it's just so awesome to hear both Julie Newmar and Leslie Jordan.
I know, my
I
goodness
know.
gracious. And so now you are going to tell us do's and don'ts for Christmas decorating. I hate Christmas decorating. It's like I don't hate the part of decorating, but I hate the part of taking it down.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
So maybe I don't go overboard, but tell us a little bit about your thoughts on that issue.
Well, I mean, Barbara,
'Cause-
I was thinking there really is. I was thinking about it, and I was thinking that there really are no Christmas don'ts. I mean, people go crazy. You mix color. More is better than less. It's like one of those few holidays or few things where I think most of the rules just kind of fly out the window. Except I did think of one, and the one was, don't put up more than you're willing to take down.
Hey,
Yes,
that's great advice.
That is the
Yeah.
main rule. That is.
Right on.
You don't want to be that neighbor in the neighborhood who's trying to pretend like his Christmas lights are really for the 4th of July.
Right.
Oh, don't you hate that neighbor? I've got a neighbor that they leave their tree up all year long. It's ridiculous. Yeah. I mean,
That's probably the biggest don't. But I mean, Barbara, speaking to your dilemma, I think people get overwhelmed, and they love decorating, they love how pretty it looks, but it can be a tedious job taking everything down.
Yes, I know.
yeah.
And so, a couple of suggestions would be to decorate light. Don't go crazy. Don't even put up a tree, but still decorate for the holidays. A couple of ideas that I had were, you can fill bowls or apothecary jars with Christmas ornaments. That way you're not lugging a tree in the house and you're not having to add water.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that idea.
You're not vacuuming up needles off the floor until August.
I'm in for those fake trees, man, that they sell at Target.
They still shed, and I find little pieces of green plastic all over the house.
Yeah.
So, just decorate, very simply. Stuff that you can just, dump back into a box or even package up the whole thing. The other thing you can do is string Christmas ornaments on beautiful ribbon and hang them, in front of the windows.
Oh, hadn't thought of that. That's a good one,
that's
Jeff.
a good one, yeah.
Yeah, and just use a Christmas hook it over the drapery rod, and when you're done, put each one in a plastic bag and save it for next year.
You're like, voila, Christmas
that is
here.
a
That's
very,
great.
very good idea.
And then another thing I was thinking of was one year I was babysitting a friend's house out in California, and they had a navel orange tree in the backyard. And they were out of town, and they were flying home, I think, like Christmas Eve, and they didn't want to put up a tree. But it just killed me to think that their house wasn't going to be decorated for Christmas. So I went down and bought garland from the local Christmas tree farm, and I got some ribbon, and I picked the oranges off the tree and washed them and cleaned them, and I decorated with green boughs and beautiful navel oranges in all different shades of yellow and orange, and added ribbon. And then when they were done, they threw the bough and the ribbon and the Christmas in the trash and kept the oranges and squeezed them and juiced them and ate them.
Now that's clever.
Hey, that's
great.
great.
That is very, very clever. One of the things that I guess in a lot of communities now, which is very controversial, is people taking their Christmas lights and syncing it to music.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah.
Apparently, a lot of community associations now are not crazy about that. I mean, if you live next door to somebody and for all night long, all you heard was the same loop,
Yeah.
it could be a little nutty.
Yeah, that would drive us crazy. Now, I know in the community we live in, the only restriction the Homeowners Association has on us is that the trees that are in the parkway next to the curb all have to be decorated. You cannot decorate it if you don't wish to, but if you do wish to decorate, the trunk has to be wrapped in red lights, and the canopy of the tree is in white. And, when you have a whole neighborhood who participates in something like that, it's spectacular. But we do have one neighbor who has done the flashing lights and the strobing lights, and it's blinking. I haven't stopped to see if there's music involved, but it feels a little schizophrenic to me.
Yeah, definitely.
I like that. Schizophrenic. That's the new theme.
Christmas. Well, thank you so much for calling in, and I hope you have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
And we will chat with you again next year.
All right.
All right. Thanks so much, man.
Bye, Jeff.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And now joining us is our favorite drag queen.
Oh, my God. They're
also
all
from Ohio.
We got them lined up.
DWI.
Oh, speaking of schizophrenic, hello. How are you?
Hey.
We're just great. I mean, we just got off the phone with Jeff, and he gave us some great decorating tips for the holidays. And I know that you are actually at a Tupperware event tonight.
I am. We're at the neighborhood Tupperware cookie exchange at the Senior Citizen Center.
Ooh. Get down.
Let me tell you, you get around.
Yeah. Don't get too crazy over there at that senior center.
I locked myself in the closet so that no one will disturb me.
Oh, so we have a drag queen in a closet calling a podcast.
Exactly.
I'm liking the visual on that.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
How exciting.
Yes, so Dee, tell me, what is the recipe that you have that's a favorite one for Christmas?
Okay, well, this is very fun. And Barbara, you and I did it on the little cooking show that we did together, so we can share that link, I believe.
Right. You can go to YouTube and see Dee and I make this.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's your very own homemade peppermint bark. Why go to Williams-Sonoma and spend all that money when you can make your own peppermint bark at home? So what I like to do is I go to the Michael's craft store where they sell those little candy melts. Barbara, you wouldn't know this. Because
I have no idea what a candy melt is.
I know. Well, anyway, they look like little discs of chocolate, all right?
Okay.
They make them for us to melt in the microwave.
So can't you just melt regular chocolate?
Well, you could, but I use these because I know that I know how to make it work.
Oh,
The
okay.
other ones, they make me nervous.
Okay, we don't want you nervous.
No. And we want to make sure that people know how to do it right. So I go to the Michaels and I buy the little Wilton chocolate melt. Dark chocolate, a bag of dark chocolate, and a bag of white chocolate.
Okay.
And then you take the bag of dark chocolate and you melt it in the microwave until it's all melty, okay? And then what you do is you pour that onto like a baking sheet, all right, that is lined with foil. You must line your baking sheet with foil, okay? And then you spread it out around until it's like nice in one even layer of chocolate, okay? And then you're going to let that set up until it becomes hard again.
Okay.
You must let it set up. Then you're going to take the white chocolate bag and you're going to melt it just like you did the chocolate, okay? The dark chocolate. You're going to melt the white chocolate just like you did the dark chocolate, okay? And then you're going to spread that over the layer of the dark chocolate. So you have a layer of dark chocolate, and you have a layer of white chocolate, okay? Are you following me?
Uh-huh.
All right. Then you're going to take some candy canes and you're going to beat the shit out of them with a mallet. All right. I usually put it in a little plastic Ziploc bag and then beat it with a rolling pin or a mallet until you bust it up real good into tiny little pieces.
Okay.
And then while that white chocolate is still wet, very important, the white chocolate must still be wet, you sprinkle that broken up candy cane on top of the white, and it makes like a little peppermint dust, and you let it set up. And then you bust that candy up into little pieces of chocolate, and you have your own peppermint bar. It's delicious.
Well, you know, Dee, I just posted this recipe on my Facebook page.
Okay, good.
So anyone who is listening who would like to make that, they can go to my Facebook page, Barbara Venezia, and they can now make that. Now, I'm not sure what is the bark part. I mean, I get the chocolate peppermint thing.
Yeah, what is the bark?
Because it kind of looks like the bark off a tree, I think, when you bust it into the little pieces.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I will say that it is absolutely delicious.
It is. And, and why spend all that money at the little Williams-Sonoma? Sorry if we're advertising for Williams-Sonoma tonight on the podcast. But
no, we don't have any advertisers yet.
Oh, not yet. Not today. Anyway, so, but oh my God, it's so much cheaper than going over to the little stores that are so much expensive.
Well, this is a great recipe, and it's, once you make this, Renee, you just can't stop eating it.
Oh my God.
It's candy crack.
Definitely, it's not good for the waistline, right?
No, not good.
Not
for
good
the
for the bikini line.
Renee doesn't eat stuff like that. I've seen him before. Right. He's way too healthy, that Renee.
I try.
Well, honey, I thank you for calling in and sharing your peppermint bark recipe with us. And I think you should get out of the closet right now, because probably.
I got to go back upstairs and sell some more cookies.
Okay, well, you have a great time, and say hi to all those folks at the Senior Center for us. And
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. She is so funny. This is really good, though, this peppermint bark stuff. She actually made me make it, and, I'm not a cook, and it really came out great. Well, Fafi Moore's on the phone right now with us, and she's calling from Las Vegas.
Hey.
Hey. How's the weather in Vegas?
Well, it's chilly. It's, chilly as Christmas weather's going to get here.
Ooh, well, that makes it feel Christmassy, though, that it's chilly.
Oh, yeah, it's time to light the fire and start thinking holiday songs and tunes and everything.
Well, I love the idea that you're calling in with experience presents. That is very unique, because so many times you go, what can I buy for somebody? I mean, at our age, you pretty much have everything, unless you're going to get another Christmas sweater. So what did you discover that we can give as experiences?
Well, and then, Barbara, another thought is that a lot of people that are young, they have small apartments that they don't have any room to put things in. So I've got some great things. In Las Vegas, they can race a Ferrari for $299 out at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where they have all the NASCAR races and all the big races. They can learn all the technical aspects of driving. It's their dream car. They get trained in it. They actually go out. Now, I did this, and the driver kind of passed his hands in front of my eyes as we're going 185 miles an hour.
Whoa!
And I'm like, okay, this is pretty fast. He asked me if I wanted to drive, and I said, no, I was doing okay with him driving because I wasn't sure I wanted to do that. But this is a real good adrenaline rush for people that like that. But if that's not enough adrenaline for you, the Las Vegas Aerobatic Thrill Ride, you can get your choice of aircraft. and they've got two of them. I don't know. One's an acrobatic plane, and the other one is an open cockpit plane. And you can pull up to 8 Gs on this ride, and that only costs you $415. So if you just want to really have that adrenaline rush, it's a good one.
Well, that sounds like fun. Yeah.
Now, you're not driving the plane, I'm assuming.
No. You're riding in the Rio seat. That's like in a fighter jet, you'd be in the Rio seat, the back seat on it. But I do have a pilot's license, but I'm not that brave that I'm going to go do aerobatics on a plane. I like to know that that plane is going to take off, going to fly straight and level, and when I want to land, I land. So that's my kind of flying.
Right.
That's why I don't do skydiving, because why would I want to jump out of a perfectly good plane?
Exactly. I agree with you.
But then there's another fun one for all the guys that, just really want to build something. There is basically Tonka toys for grown-ups, and it's called Dig This. And they can go out and they can actually drive heavy equipment. They can feel like Macho Man, go drive, move some dirt, feel big. And that's only $249. So
I've been on their website, and they say that they are one of the number one attractions in Las Vegas. I mean, you can get on a big Caterpillar and move dirt, and they give you a hard hat. That's one of the things that I would like to do.
Yeah, it sounded like a lot of fun. I mean, you can go be a construction worker for a day and have a good time, build something, or at least move some dirt from one place to the next and feel productive.
Well, do you have anything for us foodies?
Oh, yes. Las Vegas, we have so many great food places now. I mean, when I moved here 25 years ago, I used to say there were a lot of places to eat, but no places to dine. Well, we've really changed now. We do have good dining, and there's actually a Las Vegas food tour. And so you get to channel your inner foodie, and it's only $59. So you get to go try food at some different places. And it's really kind of fun. We did one of these tours when we were in Barcelona, and we loved it. Of course, I like anything when I can eat and walk. I think you defeat the purpose of walking when you're eating while you're doing it, but it still was fun.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, it is. It really, I'm going to go do that one. I thought it sounded like, how bad can it be?
Yeah. No, I'll do that with you. When I'm out there next time, we should do that.
Oh, I think that'd be fun. Good. We'll put it on the schedule. And then, I like to take pictures. I'm supposed to call them photos, not pictures. But I like to go out and do that. I'm kind of an amateur photographer. And they have, I just set up, this is so cool. It's a Las Vegas night photo safari. Well, with all the great lights and the strip and everything, it's a guided tour that they take you to all these great places where you can get really good photos of Las Vegas. And that's only $60. You have to bring your own camera.
Okay. Well, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, I thought these were all really fun things. But if your listeners think that maybe we missed something, there's a lot more ideas on this website. It's www.cloud9, the number 9, living.com. They have so many experience gifts, and they run anywhere from like $35 up to the one that was over $400. But they're really some great things that you could give the person that has everything.
Well, I think you've really done a great job here, and you've done your homework. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it sounds like fun, and I'm glad you want to do the food tour. We'll go try that one on. We'll pick our good walking shoes, and we'll have some fun.
All right, sounds like a plan. Well, I will see you next week, I guess, when I'm back in Las Vegas, and we'll have some fun.
We'll have a great time, and happy holidays to everybody that's listening.
Thanks,
Merry
Fafi.
Christmas. Bye, Fafi.
Bye-bye.
And I'll take that Cloud Living 9 and I'll put it on our website, on the website too.
Oh, very good.
On the Facebook page, because that I'm going to do that. That sounds like really lots of fun. So we've had an incredible show today, and you have a pseudo diamond ring. I don't know if you can see this.
It's
Can
a
you
simulated diamond ring.
hold it up
Where's our
for
camera?
those that are watching us on YouTube? Tell me about that diamond ring.
Okay, this is from the Elizabeth Taylor collection, and it's from the same jewelry manufacturer that did the Nolan Miller Glamour collection.
Ooh.
Yeah, and this is actually a replica of Elizabeth Taylor's ring. It's 33.19 of simulated diamond. Yeah, which is actually yeah.
What are
and
they selling that for?
They're actually selling it. I mean, that's a lot of bang for your buck. It's $149 on QVC, and you can do 3 easy payments too. How about that?
You've been on QVC too long.
I mean, how cool is that, though? That you can get actual. I mean,
cool.
isn't that awesome? I mean, like that's pretty great for a fake diamond, right? I mean, I think
it really is, and it's made very well. I'm holding it right now, and I'm putting it on.
Yeah.
And it's not cheesy.
No.
You know how sometimes
I know,
costume
some of those-
jewelry is
yeah.
cheesy?
I
But
mean-
it is quite luxurious. This is glitter, glitter, glitter.
yeah. How about that? You can serve martinis on it,
So
huh?
how did you get a hold of this when you were at QVC?
Well, yeah, I mean, Tim Mendelsohn, he was the one who worked alongside Elizabeth Taylor for 20 years, and he actually goes, he represents the estate of Elizabeth Taylor, and he went on air, and so I actually got it from him, and so it's something I'm treasuring this Christmas. It's kind of, that's Christmas for me, big faux diamond ring. So
you will
yeah.
be wearing
No,
this
I'm not
on
going to be
New
wearing
Year's
it.
Eve.
I'll just have it on display. I'll keep it as objet on my coffee table or something. So anyway, I thought you'd get a kick out of it.
I did.
Yeah.
Well, I love jewelry.
Yeah,
So,
you've got
yes.
gorgeous diamonds yourself. You've got real ones, and I brought a fake. So
Well, jewelry's jewelry. As
Right.
long as it glitters, we love it.
absolutely.
Well, so what are you doing for Christmas?
I will be in town. My dad lives down in Laguna Beach, so I'll be down there for Christmas. And then Christmas Day, I'll be at Donna Mills. She throws like this amazing Christmas party and has all these people over, so I'll be there Christmas Day.
Well, I hope you'll be
Yeah.
posting on Facebook and Instagram.
Absolutely. And then I'm going to ski Montana for New Year's.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
What about you?
I'm going to be in Las Vegas, so
All right.
we're going to have fun. Well,
that's a
that
wrap?
ends our show.
I can't believe it's
I
already
know.
over. My
it's
God.
already over. So to our listeners, have a very safe, happy, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year. We'll be back in 2015.
We'll rock it out.
Yeah.
See ya. Bye.
I want to tell you about a spectacular dining experience. It's Ports a Call Waterfront Dining, award-winning service and cuisine with a view of the dynamic LA harbor from every seat. Enjoy daily sunset specials as well as the South Bay's best champagne brunch. The outdoor harborside patio is a perfect setting for happy hour every weekday from 3 to 8. Ports a Call Waterfront Dining. For reservations and directions, visit portsacalldining.com or call 310-833-3553.
1,000 miles per hour.
What does this song mean to you guys, since you know the lyrics?
Oh.
Jerks.
My degree's in physics, not English. So I refuse to answer that.
Well, maybe you guys can relate, because this song for me is me getting out of my parents' house in Huntington Beach. It's kind of when I was moving up to LA. Granted, it's a little while ago, but this is where my head was at. It was, and with you guys can relate, leaving Virginia or leaving, coming from Santa Cruz, right? Your college?
Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara. And moving somewhere and getting out of your head, trying to find something new, being lost, and trying to find your place. I mean, how did you guys handle coming out to California from Virginia?
Yeah, it's definitely a change. I never really paid attention to the lyrics of that song, honestly. But I could see that thinking about the lyrics. Yeah, you definitely have that feeling of feeling a little lost, but at the same time embracing all the new that's around you, and that's what you have to do. Just
in your case, though, David, you moved from Huntington Beach to LA.
The biggest of changes. I know, right? Oh my God!
But 1,000 miles.
I walked.
Was it like? Was it
1,000 footsteps?
Was it?
Oh my
did it
God.
feel like 1,000 miles? Is that why we're sort of?
It felt like a really cool song title.
Yeah. Okay.
What is speed when you don't know where you're going? A knife to the throat is dangerous indeed. What's to bleed when you don't know what's flowing? Moving away from this land, this Abulia. Going to the best place for me. A car full of gas, a map you cannot see. It was costly, my mind to spend all my money. I blame you for my troubles, but I know it's all on me. Responsibility is bloody and dragging behind me. Moving away from this land, this Abulia. Going to the best place for me. If you feel the same, follow me. If you feel the same, follow me. Things are as they seem. This ain't the life for me, and you know it. We're gonna do the same things we did yesterday. Trying to pass the time, waiting for tomorrow. So please tell me at night you dream of the wildest things. 'Cause I bind up windows to versus glass, pray for salvation from my lazy ass. I toss and turn, sleepwalk and start fires, create new words to help dream out desires. So please, if you feel the same, follow me. If you feel the same, follow me. Moving away from this land, this Abulia. Going to the best place for me. Yeah, sometimes life has a way of making you feel crazy. But baby, it's not the road laid out for me.
Coming to you live from the LA radio studio on Radio Screamer, Phil Collin, Debbie Blackwell Cook, and Forrest Robinson. Take it away, guys.
Secret flame, yeah. disappears, never seen again. Like days, we fade away. Raging floods, we win and win. Yes, love battles when open and pain. Yes, I do pray. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let on me if everything is alright. Let on me if anything is wrong. All I wanna do is get next to you. Get next to you. All I wanna do is get next to you. Get next to you. Feels like I'm freezing, but my soul's on fire. Feels like I'm free falling, free from desire. Let it go.
Play that guitar. Play that box.
Oh, play it, play it, play it, oh yeah. Let on it if everything is alright. Let on it if anything is wrong. All I wanna do is get next to you. Get next to you. All I wanna do is get next to you. Get next to you. Hey, yeah. All I wanna do is get next to you. Get next to you. Yeah, yeah. All I wanna do is get next to you. Get next to you.
Well, come on, darling. I'm just right here. We got an open seat for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
That was Mr. Phil Collins. Ms. Debbie Blackwell Cook, no relation to Paul, I understand.
Well,
And Forrest and Forrest Robinson, drummer, percussionist. First of all, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for being here today. It's my honor that we're getting the world exclusive here on Radio Screamer of Delta Deep.
Absolutely. Actually, the first time I've actually played guitar publicly since I've had this operation, so it was...
Okay.
That was a big deal. It actually worked. Woohoo!
Thank you. So really, we were just kind of your guinea pig waiting for a bigger
Absolutely, yeah. We can actually go now. I can tell everyone
we're your beta testers.
Definitely.
Okay. Well, I know that people didn't tune in today to hear me talk, so why don't I turn it back over to you to let you do what it is you do. Ladies and gentlemen, Delta Deep.
I've got nothing left to lose under the weeping willow tree and these muddy water blues. Muddy water blues. Muddy water blues. Oh, muddy water blues. Tell me the news.
like glue. Trying to get free from your baby and a muddy water blues. Muddy water blues. Wait a minute, where my tissue go?
All right, I'm going to name a band, and you tell me if they were punk, new wave, ska, pop, rock, or something completely different. Oh, never mind that. Actually, I'll tell you what they were, a phenomenon, and the biggest band of their time, and perhaps they continue to be one of the biggest bands in this time. And joining us live is the man who played guitar through all of that success, and here to talk about his movie, which is based on his memoir. It's called Can't Stand Losing You, Surviving the Police. That's the band we're talking about. Hello to Mr. Andy Summers. Sir, a pleasure to speak with you.
Yeah, hi.
It's a distinct honor, honestly. There really never was a great big box to put the Police in. You were not a bunch of angry, bottle-breaking punks, were you?
Not really. It was a nice mask to start with, but it wasn't the truth.
Yeah. Right. No, it wasn't. And it is striking because you had a sound that was groundbreaking at the time because we had the punk sound, we had the new wave sound, and the hard rock bands were struggling to figure out where they were going to go next. And then there was the pop music sound, and somehow your music straddled all of that and just became bigger than life.
Yeah. Well, we were lucky. We were very lucky to meet each other. And obviously, this random meeting, produced a chemistry that, I guess a lot of people look for, but it was completely non-formulaic. I mean, I guess our credo was that we just didn't really want to sound like anybody else.
Yeah, and certainly you did not. Stuart Copeland was the drummer, and Sting, of course, and the music was enduring. Had you ever dreamed that you would be part of, I guess, the fabric of popular music?
No. Well, I guess, if you grow up in England with all this stuff that goes with growing up in the UK, maybe it's a sort of a dream that you're supposed to get there, but, very few people do. And, I guess we all grew up with the Beatles and that as the model. Certainly in the Police, when we started in the middle of the punk scene, we were just hoping to stay alive and, get a gig and be a decent band. Where it went, of course, we didn't even imagine that. So it was all incredible.
And the timing was so right because it seemed like, at least here in America, and I can't speak for how things were in the UK and in other parts of the world, we were thirsting for new sounds at the time.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting moment because we did come out of that scene, and obviously it sparked the interest of the people in the US and the media in the US, like, what's this punk thing that's happening in London? And so sort of historically what happened is we did come over right in the middle of all that and played at CBGB's, and we were following on the tails of the Sex Pistols, of course, who'd come over and just about scared the wits out of every radio station in the US. And then we turned up with this great song called Roxanne, and we're out of the punk scene, but we're, let's say more approachable. We could articulate our feelings well at the radio stations, and, all these things sort of combined to get us started.
Right. The personalities were great, but let's focus on the personalities for a moment because as often happens with rock and roll bands, it wasn't all fun and games, and the personalities started to clash. Tell me, at what point, Andy, did things stop being the Police and they started being the Sting Show?
Yes, well, it's a fair enough point. I'd say it's about sort of halfway through touring with Ghost and Machine, and then we had to come up to the fifth album, the Synchronicity album. Somewhere in there, I think we were starting to find it all very difficult. We were sort of separating out, Although, we were still the Police. We still had another album to make. And everybody was expecting us. They built kind of an industry around us, if you like.
Right.
So there was no getting out of it. And, it's sort of ironic. And I've realized this over the last few interviews. Actually, we signed up to A&M to make 5 albums. That was the contract.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we did. We made the 5 albums. We didn't get into we're going to make another 5 after this, go on for the next 30 years or anything like that. We made the 5 albums that we were contracted to make, and that was sort of it, although, of course, they own all the records. So there was a sort of rather weird sort of anal retentive, neat and tidy thing going on, as well as all the difficulties of, well, as you said, we were a phenomenon. We weren't just a band with one little hit. It was a worldwide and a raging machine that we were dealing with.
Yeah, all right. And so you had your clashes with personalities, and Sting clearly was breaking out as he was the Greek god of music at the time. And I don't mean this as a personal dig at all. I don't mean it to be disparaging at all. I mean, I know who you are. I know who Stuart Copeland is. A lot of people do. But for the pedestrian music listener who reads People magazine, I think a lot of those people may know the name Trudy. Well, I don't even know it. Help me with the Sting's wife's name. Trudy Schuyler, is that her name? Yeah. A lot of people might know that name before they know your name. Does that ever get under your skin?
That's never occurred to me. That's a fresh one. I've never heard that said before.
Well, I'm just imagining that might be the case. If it's not,
I mean, don't play guitar in the band. Then that's what I say.
Yes, exactly. Fine, right.
That's the head. Get on.
She could play for a long time. Now, ultimately, the band broke up, and I apologize for the Trudy Schuyler thing. It was just a thought that occurred to me that people aren't all that tapped into stuff. But ultimately, the band broke up. So, what happened next for you?
Well, of course, there was a period of trying to process this amazing experience we'd all been in for many years. Came out of that, and it was like facing the abyss for a while. Very difficult. But the way I sort of got over it was going back to music, going back to recording and sort of getting on with the job again. That's what I know how to do, and that's what I knew how to do. And I went back to recording, and ultimately touring and, continued life as a musician. That's really what put me back together.
Yeah.
After that incredible experience.
Put you back together. Does that imply you fell apart a little bit for a while?
Absolutely, yeah. When I think back about my sort of state of being back, post-police dissolution, it's, pretty incredible, actually. I was sort of drifting around like a ghost for a while there, I think, and then finally got back with it.
Yeah. A ghost out of the machine.
Right. Well, there you go, yeah. It's having to do the job and get back and be good and try and create art. That's you got something real to deal with rather than just, being someone who's a bit famous,
Yeah. And then there was the reunion. I imagine there were a lot of forces pushing for that to happen, business forces and others. But was everybody cool with it? I mean, you were older, more mature about stuff, all of you, or was it awkward or even crowded on the stage?
Yeah, and I like that you used the word cool, because that would be great. I don't know if we're like cool. I mean, we got back into the, you can talk about it as long as you want, but the reality is we got in a room together and we had to do it again. And now it's not the playing of the music. We can all do that standing on our head. It's the sort of psychological coming together, like we're really going to be a band. We're going to go out. We're going to be together. We're going to play this music and we're going to do it. And now how are we going to do that psychologically after all this time?
Yeah.
Because it's a bit like going back to the classroom, like day one, and we're all in there with the teacher, like having to start all over again.
Yeah.
But, we did deal with it. It was a little rocky at the beginning. It wasn't easy. And, you have to sort of hold on to your sense of self
in
the first few weeks. And, it started to smooth out as we started to play. And, suddenly we had this incredible success in our hands and off we went, and that's really kind of what smoothed it all out.
I tell you, the trailer for Can't Stand Losing You, Surviving the Police, is very compelling. We have it posted on our website on the Show Fun page, and I can't wait to see it. And it's coming out soon. Is that correct?
It's out already, and it's on in 2 cinemas in Los Angeles at the moment. It's at the Lemley Royale in West Los Angeles, and it's at the whatever they call it in Pasadena, Lemley in Pasadena.
Right. Okay, and you're doing a Q&A tomorrow in Southern California, isn't that correct?
Well, I'm doing one at the Lemley Royal on Sunday night, the 12th, and then Thursday night, 16th. Yeah,
Fantastic.
Thursday night.
All the best to you on this, and we're going to watch it for sure. And real quick, will there be another police reunion?
I think there will be.
Oh, you heard it here.
It's not shocking. I don't know why I'm saying that from a completely gut feeling about it, and I could be totally wrong.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're right.
We seem to be cyclical.
Andy Summers, a pleasure to speak with you. Good luck with the movie, and thank you very much for being on the program.
Thank you, Phil.
I want to tell you about a spectacular dining experience. It's Ports a Call waterfront dining, award-winning service and cuisine with a view of the dynamic LA harbor from every seat. Enjoy daily sunset specials, as well as the South Bay's best bottomless champagne brunch. The outdoor harborside patio is a perfect setting for happy hour every weekday from 3 to 8. Ports a Call waterfront dining. For reservations and directions, visit portsacalldining.com or call 310-833-3553. Hey, thanks for tuning in. You're in for a treat here on Phil Hewlett and Friends because we've never had a live musical performance in the studio. And we'll see if Ali Spagnola's music feels like a party, even without the beer shot glass next to us.
Speak for yourself.
It can be. You want one?
Yeah, I thought we had beer. Did the beer make its way in?
Mm-mm.
It didn't?
I'll bring it in a minute.
All right, we'll see what can happen. Well, Ali is strapped in. She's plugged in, and she's ready to play some acoustic electric music for us. Your concerts aren't acoustic, though, right?
It depends. This one coming up is electric.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll do like a bunch of covers, and then it could be acoustic. That
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, take it away. Well, what's this song called?
This is called Synonyms for Drunk. I'm going to sing 91 different words for drunk in under a minute.
Oh, good. All right. Here it is, Ali Spagnola.
In rare form and fried and whiskey-fied, ossified, tipsy and tanked and sloppy and cranked. Blotto, invincible, done, been stingo, messed up, tore up, lubed up, boozed up, liquored up, banged up, lit up, hooched up, buzzed and jazzed and glazed and bombed, ripped and pissed and blitzed and bombed, sawed and logged and corked and sober, shot and sopped and totally sober, smash, trash, bash, mash, muzzy, fuzzy, dizzy, merry, screwed and glowing and nuked and blowing a two. Soaked and jiggered and gone and pippled, juiced and happy and seeing, triple loaded, polluted, toasted and stupid, inebriated, intoxicated, annihilated, saturated, lubricated, marinated, retarded, obliterated, pixelated, 3 sheets to the wind. Licked and plowed and mellow and bushed, cocked and silly and hammered and crushed, drenched and wrenched and slammed and wasted, corked and skunked and sloshed, lambasted, blasted and plastered, shellacked and whacked and crunk and drunk.
Wow. And at what point was I supposed to take a shot?
All of them. That's good.
99 shots on the... Oh, look. We have beer.
There
we
you go. Time
All
to
right.
lube up.
Some Shock Top just walked in. Some lemon shandy, that is. Very good. Thank you, executive producer Mike Stark, on the case. And here's your shot glass right there. It's actually a giant styrofoam.
Thank you,
cup.
sir.
And Aaron, help yourself.
Who do you like to cover, Ali, when you do cover songs?
Well, actually, my band is basically like a wedding band, but with even more alcohol than a wedding. So we just do like 80s rock, 90s pop, oldies, that kind of like anything you can dance to, rock
Good.
out.
All right. Well, we're in a dancing mood, and we're about to take a shot here to keep up with you. And so you no doubt you have some kind of pop song to play for us. Is that right? Or did you plan on that? What did you plan on?
This one, this is like a John Mayer-ish kind of thing. So that's pop, right?
Okay.
It's called Drunk Dialing.
Drunk Dialing, Ali Spagnola.
It's 1 a.m. and I've got the best idea I've had in a while. I finish my shot and reach for my pocket. It's time to drunken dial. I'm looking through my dialed calls the next morning, and I have found I made a couple calls to the number 71111 pound. And then of course I called my boss, but I had the phone upside down, so it didn't end with job loss, because I'm drunk dialing you. You're surprised when you make it through the night without a ring at home. That's only because 'cause I thought my digital camera was my phone. My phone's really at the bottom of a beer. Too bad 'cause I had to say I wish you were here. And what are you wearing? 'Cause I'm drunk dialing, drunk dialing, drunk dialing, drunk dialing, drunk dialing, drunk dialing you.
Nicely done. Wow.
it.
You've got people standing up, and here, I'm going to drink to that. And here.
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go.
Very good. Thank you. And so, are all of your songs about booze?
Yeah, I mean, I have some albums before the Power Hour that were, vaguely about booze.
So these
It's like
these were your albums that you put out before you became of drinking age.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
That was the dreaming of drinking age.
So what were the topics of du jour back then?
I don't know. It still was tongue-in-cheek kind of stuff, like not straightforward comedy, but
Yeah.
the human experience.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Well, see, we're experiencing Ali Spagnola here live, a live concert in the studio. Well, I think we have time for another song. Do you have another one for us?
Sure.
Can I get another shot?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Pour it in, and then here. Why don't we both pour at the same time? This has never happened.
The double pour.
All right. Take it easy.
There we go.
All right, I think I got a good one that you guys are like. It's called "It Sounds Like a Good Idea."
Oh, it usually does.
I think we've all been there. Ali Spagnola on Phil Hewlett and Friends.
It sounds like a good idea, but it's not. Take off your pants and climb that sculpture. Crush a can with your head and yell at the bouncer. Punch a wall and sleep at a frat. Race a bus and shave the cat. It sounds like a good idea, but it's not. Pass out in a bush and attempt to fly. Pee on the lawn, make out with that guy. Give your friend a mullet and flush your cell phone. Chat with a cop, wear a construction cone. It sounds like a good idea, but it's not.
Hey, look at that. See, and that's a 1 minute
nice.
song, isn't it?
Right.
How many of your songs are exactly 1 minute long?
60 of them.
Wow, that's how that
That
works in the
takes
Power
talent.
Hour.
Sounds like a power hour.
So you can just go nonstop for an hour
Yeah.
from one song to the next,
Mhm.
and you're watching your audience get drunker and drunker. And what's that experience like?
It's a blast.
Is it?
Honestly.
Are you joining them?
There are times I try my best to keep it together, but there are times where I let it
No,
get too
like
far,
that
and
first
it's pretty
song
great.
that you performed for us with the various terms for being schlockered.
yeah.
Was schlockered in there?
Oh my goodness.
Make it 92.
But yeah, you couldn't sing that song on 2 or 3 beers, could you?
No, 2 or 3 beers I couldn't even stand. I'm a lightweight.
Are you?
Yeah. Just don't tell the
How
internet.
ironic.
Yes, it is ironic.
What's the craziest thing you've ever seen in your audience? Because people are doing these shots. of
Yeah,
beer.
right. Okay, so I was playing a private party at like a ski chalet. I know, I sound so awesome. And it was like outdoors, but it was still winter. It just seemed like it was weirdly nice. We skied, but we could be outside, and I was performing like acoustic. And this guy in like a full body jumpsuit thing, that you would ski in, and it was just like absurdly brightly colored, was being out of control the whole time. And then like around minute 30, he got up on the banister, and we're on level 2, and he puts a beer in his mouth, and he does a backflip into the snow and finishes his beer on landing.
Wow.
I was like, are you kidding me?
Give that one a 10.
That's some hand-eye-foot coordination
That's a 10.
with alcohol in your bloodstream. That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, and then after I'm like, I gotta follow that. Like that's an amazing act.
Yes, right.
But the best part actually was that all his other friends who were also wearing absurdly bright jumpsuits were like, yeah, he does it at all the parties.
All
They're
right,
like
show off.
unenthused.
Do you have any love songs?
Love songs? Nah, I mean for beer maybe.
Yeah.
Love for beer.
Yeah, right.
All right, I'm wondering if maybe instead of using our outro music, how far away are we from that music starting?
About a minute and a half.
Or about a minute and a half. Okay, so you have a minute song that you could play, right?
Oh yeah, I do.
So if we wait until we've got to wait another 20 seconds, we'll count you down. Just let me tell everybody the website. If you have some kind of love song that you could play for us, it'll be perfect. But PowerHourAlbum.com is one of your websites, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Ali Spagnola with the @ sign in front of it. That's the Twitter. And you're on Facebook, the same thing, facebook.com/Ali Spagnola. Just the way it sounds. 1 L, not 2. That would be Spagnolia.
Right.
Right? All right.
And Phil, if I may, I'd like to just say what my grandpa says to start every family event. Here goes and Lord knows, more booze and less clothes.
That's
I like
musical.
your grandpa.
Love you,
All right.
Gramps.
Okay. How far are we from where we typically play that out music? 50 seconds. Oh, we have more time to talk. Okay. So, do you have a big another big tour coming up?
No, not anything set up for the country or anything, but I'm gonna start playing in LA a lot more, and
Yeah.
so yeah.
How do you like LA?
It's so awesome.
And are you
Oh, my
from
goodness.
around here, or are you traveling?
Oh, I just moved here 2 months ago.
Oh, look at that.
Pittsburgh.
Okay.
See, look, I brought this to make fun of your Ducks.
Pittsburgh. Oh,
Yeah,
good.
big Penguins
But
fan.
Penguins are out of the playoffs, and you're making fun of the Ducks.
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
I'm still a diehard fan, whether
Yeah.
or not.
You have to be
All right.
loyal, yeah.
All right. So, what are you going to play us out with?
Okay, this is my love song for Running Well Under the Influence.
All right. Final
Ooh.
song from Ali
The only way
Spagnola. Thanks for
running's
being
fun.
here.
Of
We love
course.
your music.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Here we go.
Drunk running, ooh, drunk running. You hardly realize you're doing it. Drunk running, ooh, drunk running. What a painless way to get fit. Drunk running, ooh, drunk running. Nothing about it is illegal. Drunk running, ooh, drunk running. Just try your best not to fall. It's the best way to get where you're going. And of course, it's so much fun. If this were a race, I would definitely be ahead. I should probably enter a decathlon wasted. Drunk running, ooh, drunk running. You hardly realize you're doing it.
Awesome.
I want to tell you about a spectacular dining experience. It's Ports a Call Waterfront Dining, award-winning service and cuisine with a view of the dynamic LA harbor from every seat. Enjoy daily sunset specials as well as the South Bay's best champagne brunch. The outdoor harborside patio is a perfect setting for happy hour every weekday from 3 to 8. Ports a Call Waterfront Dining. For reservations and directions, visit portsacalldining.com or call 310-833-3553.
Energize the Lawn Friend podcast tonight, 1 year anniversary. In the studio with me, a slew of familiar faces. First, we introduced the Trinity because the chicks always get introduced first. Danielle and
Hello.
Wendy and Diana. Steve Cohen from Village Pizzeria in Hollywood trekked 35 miles to bring us the finest Brooklyn slice.
Did you say Village People Pizzeria?
Village People Pizzeria.
That's awesome.
Dude, free delivery to the YMCA.
Give a piece a chance.
Give a piece a chance. So Steve and I met when I was working on my chapter on Hollywood for the second book, and I rode my bike around Larchmont, and he'd be outside with his shorts on and shit, talking to people, and he just looked like he was high. So I said, I got to talk to this guy, and we became brothers. We were born how many days apart? 12 days apart.
He's going to go into the numbers game now.
Yeah, no numbers. Anyway,
a synchronicity.
We'll talk. We'll get you on. Junk Man, hello.
How are you, my brother?
Okay.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you, dude. And to my,
I'm hip to the junk man.
And to my Jordan Junkman Wallace.
What is hip?
And to my right, man who needs no introduction to anyone who's carried sticks for the past 30 years in rock and roll. He has more stories. I know because he told me a whole bunch of them.
I just got off the Catalina cruise ship over here in the harbor.
Yeah, dude.
It's rad. Have you been to Catalina since you lived here?
They're redoing it. I heard the news last night. They
Yeah.
want to redo more hotels.
What are they doing to Catalina?
They want to add more hotels.
Casinos
Make
and
it
shit?
more
Oh, no.
user-friendly.
Bring back the Cubs. No. You know who owned that island originally?
Peppermint, Spearmint.
You got it. Wrigley Spearmint.
I win. Where's the game? Where's the bell?
Wait. Why the fuck did the owner of Wrigley Field and the Cubs come and buy an island in Los Angeles?
Not a bad
Explain that
idea.
one to me.
Not a bad
He wanted
idea.
an island, and it was, available. And then did you know that he brought a lot of animals out there? So him and his buddies.
Yes.
Like Noah?
I want to see that new movie. It looks pretty rad.
Dude, I do too. I take my dad to the movies every Wednesday.
Really?
Yeah, it's senior day. I moved to Vegas.
Wow.
That's where I live.
Once I
And
sat.
buffets.
Once I sat in the movie theater with a very old gentleman named Bob Hope.
Oh, you did?
I heard this man snoring. Shoo! And it was in Burbank, where he was from Toluca Lake. You know that,
What?
right?
They name a street after him in
Yeah.
Burbank.
So I turned around, and it's Bob Hope asleep behind me in the theater. It was rad.
Wherever he goes.
Did he have kind of like a Bob Hope kind of a snore? Like
He did. I could tell it was him just by his snore. I said, it's got to be Bob.
There's Bob snoring, so Matt Storm can't watch the fucking movie. Hope.
Yeah, wasn't that a trip? That's one of my celebrity sightings.
Now, here's the thing. This will show me if your memory isn't too damaged by your fame and fortune. What movie were you seeing? What movie?
The Exorcist, maybe? I don't know.
No, Bob Hope wouldn't see you.
No, I don't
can't
remember.
sit through this.
It might have been a Disney film. I'm not sure. I had a little
What
kid
if it
with
was
me.
one of his old films?
No, that. Yeah, it was actually what's that? Long Dong, whatever Silver.
Long Dong Silver? John Holmes? The Mayan Theater? The luxurious Mayan
No,
Theater?
it was a legit film because I remember he had the wife with him. She was awake though.
That's where I saw. That's where I saw Behind the Green Door and The Resurrection of Eve. The first two pornos that started me on my path of moral degradation.
Hey, you know, remember the Mitchell
that theater, the Mitchell Brothers Theater.
Come on,
dude, they closed.
I married a girl from the Mitchell Brothers. I did. It's a true story.
Okay, tell it.
Okay.
I've been there. I know where it is. I live in San
No,
Francisco.
I'll tell you my best Mitchell Brothers O'Farrell Mitchell Brothers story. Okay.
Legendary Theater, Northern California, San Francisco, classic place. That's what Matt's referring to.
The girls,
I delivered to them too.
The girls don't like to refer to themselves as strippers. They like to refer to themselves as performance artists.
I did. My store was right
So
far.
I went to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers when Dave Navarro was in the band. Red Hot Minute when they kissed each other and stuff. I can't remember the name.
I remember.
Red Hot something.
They had that one video that got played on MTV a lot with Dave all
Airplane.
tattooed. Airplane. Thank you, Danielle.
So I go to the show in San Francisco and I'm backstage. And what was the name of the heavyset comedian?
Sam Kinison?
No, he passed away.
Louis Anderson.
Farley.
Chris Farley.
Chris Farley.
So Chris Farley
was in Airheads.
Chris Farley's backstage with them, and I accidentally opened the door and Flea's meditating to a Buddha. That was the first thing I saw.
God, he started
and then,
early.
So then I head over to Dave Navarro and I say to Dave, hey, you guys, what are you doing, man? Let's go to the Mitchell Brothers O'Farrell Theater. And Flea goes, what's that? and Chris Farley goes, he already starts sweating. You know, it's like he just hears the word Mitchell Brothers O'Farrell and he's already sweating. So we get in this car with this limo and I take her to the Mitchell Brothers O'Farrell Theater where I knew some of the girls. And we go in there and we go into what's called the Green Door Room.
Yeah.
Are you familiar
Behind
with
the
it?
Green Door, dude. That's the movie that put him on the map.
Yeah, so it's me and Flea and Chris Farley and Navarro and I think Anthony, and we sit in this booth, right? And this girl presents herself, this performance artist, I'd like to call her. She presents herself on the table with a large bag of dildos, right?
See-through bag?
So, yeah, it's a see-through bag, and basically you select size by cash amount.
Oh, shit.
So it's like starts at a certain, couple 3 inches, and that's like $25.
Tell him you're offered a menu.
And you're offered a menu of dildo selection
you frequent
for
the place,
for the
Steve.
performance, right? So I'm looking over at Chris Farley. He's like, oh my god, and he's completely drenched. We haven't even gotten to the dildo yet, So of course, I go full girth. I go black, jumbo. You worked with Hustler. You know those ones with
I
us.
know,
They're
dude.
black and they're kind of rubbery. And you could hit somebody over the head with it and knock them out.
My first long form writing assignments at Hustler were reviewing products.
Oh, did you get in action?
How'd
or
that
just
one work
the
out for you?
I cut my compositional teeth by coming up with new names for breasts, like love bags.
You came up with love bags? That's you?
Hustler had a style book. Hustler had a style book with every dirty word ever uttered and all of the variations of that word. Yeah. There were 4 pages for boobs. You may use this. This is not in this Hustler style book. Well, what if I'm coming up with a new one, man? That's what creativity's all about.
Gotta be
Anyway,
approved.
let's get back to the
long
Mitchell brothers.
Well, long story short, the Jumbotron inserts this girl. And I look over at Chris Farley, who's wearing a suit, and he's completely drenched. And Flea runs out because he's kind of a spiritual cat, you know,
Yeah.
vegetarian and all.
Yeah.
You know, it's too much meat in the room for him. So he was like, he ran, and all I remember Chris Farley yelling was, "Thank you, Matt! Thank you!" You know, that was it. It was just an amazing time
Right.
at the
I
Open
could
Air
see
Theater,
that. I could
which
see
the
that.
Mitchell brothers. If you guys remember the story, one of the Mitchell brothers shot his brother.
Yeah.
Because
Jim and
he was
Artie.
too crazy.
That's right.
Could you imagine getting crazy in the Mitchell brothers? Huh? What's
That's
the
like
problem?
getting kicked out of GNR because you're too high.
Right. Now look, I've apologized to Steven Adler for that. That was something I said on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
No, I said that.
Well, I said it on the Rock and Roll Hall of
Oh.
Fame.
Okay.
I said in my acceptance speech, I said, I got this call from Slush, and my mom said Slush is on the phone, and I answered, and it said, "Hey man, it's Slush," and I said, "What's up, man?" He said, "Well, we're looking for a drummer. We had to kick our drummer out for doing too many drugs," and I said this on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I said, "How the fuck do you get kicked out of Guns N' Roses for doing too many drugs?" Right? Think about that.
It's a rhetorical question.
And I said it as a joke, but what I meant to say was, I know where you got kicked out. You didn't fucking share. You were hogging the shit.
You're bogarting.
That's what the real story is.
Yeah.
You were bogarting your shit.
Dude, it's a miracle. That
I used to follow
Toy's
Duff
still
McKagan
here.
around and pick up fucking like a gram just following the guy. He would just like walk around and he was like Linus, you know that guy? He was like, you know the dude in Charlie Brown with the fucking
With
dirt?
the blanket.
But
He
it wasn't dirt falling off, it was blow, just fucking like rocks of cocaine just everywhere, and I could just follow him and get my nightly fucking amount.
Matt,
Just
what's
goes on and on.
what's the biggest pile of blow you ever saw in one place at one time? Just remember all.
Okay, I remember.
You don't have to name names, nothing. Just
it was
where
on the
it?
November Rain video shoot, and Billy Idol was in the trailer. And all I remember thinking was I was trying to quit drugs at that time. Remember when I got with that girl Kai, who I married?
Yes,
who was
you
a Mitchell
married
Brothers
Kai.
girl
Yes,
dancer.
you did.
She's
Yes, you
beautiful.
did.
You know, it was one of those chicks that's like, well, I'm a stripper, but I also do yoga, and I'm studying spirituality through the Kundalini.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
And you know that kind of shit. Like they couldn't quite figure it
They
out.
separated. They
She was-
separated.
What
she
if
was hot, but
They
she was
could do it.
searching for her,
It's all
inner
business.
What
self.
if she was just a seeker, man?
She was a seeker, and now she lives on an ashram somewhere with a bunch of dudes.
Then
and-
she's found her peace.
Yeah. So basically, what were we talking about?
The biggest pile of cocaine.
Oh, the biggest pile of cocaine
You ever saw?
I got
in
so
one
caught
room.
up in it, I had to
And-
jump right into like Kundalini yoga because I was almost high thinking about it. So I'm in this trailer
with Billy
and,
Idol.
and I walk in and Billy Idol's in there, and you've seen Scarface.
Of course.
Duff McKagan, he didn't just buy an 8-ball. He bought like a half ounce of blow, and he'd just dump it on the table, and it was like pile on the table, like Scarface, where he says, where he sticks his face in there.
Yeah.
Like I just saw The Wolf of Wall Street, right? And I called Duff. I go, "Have you seen that shit?" He goes, "Yeah, fucking pussies." bunch of fucking suits, right? No. Okay, I'm gonna segue into a true story. I'm gonna segue since I did the biggest pile of blow with Duff McKagan and Billy Idol. I was out in New York City with Jerry Cantrell, and I had this band called Neurotic Outsiders, and I just decided to fall off the wagon one night in the middle of the tour because we all met when we were sober. So me and Cantrell end up down in Wall Street, swear to God, true story, at around 11 o'clock in the afternoon, and we go up an elevator, and there's a guy with a walkie-talkie, and you're supposed to say something like, Occidental Petroleum, like something like a stock of some sort. And all of a sudden the door opens, and it's like, bum, 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 bum. You're like Mission Impossible, and you're like, there's a fucking club in Wall Street that's open, and everyone's smoking crack right now. And you can
Shut up.
Swear to God. And the door opens, it's fucking stripper poles and dudes in suits smoking crack, just like the fucking movie. And I bet that dude was in there, the real guy,
So Scorsese,
the wolf guy.
He sent the guys in there.
And
to
this was like
research.
1997. And I'm like, fuck. And these dudes were hardcore because you could tell that they were going to go back to work after lunch. Like
And
they
with other people's fortunes and money. after smoking crack
So that
at
shit
their
was-
private club.
That shit was going down.
God, I feel good about this country.
I feel better about LA.
So that's just one of the things that happened to me in Wall Street, and
Oh my, where do we have we started?
no,
Well,
we started with drugs, and now we should segue into dolphins.
Yeah,
I want to
'Cause I'm
ask.
really into
You
dolphins.
had a comment about the dolphin. Please reiterate that because I love dolphins.
Well,
By
I
the
was-
way, my daughter's company made the Cove.
Well, I just went
which
there.
is an
I
extraordinary.
went there. I went
film.
there in September.
Oh, dude, you went to the Cove.
I went to the Cove September 1st with Rick O'Barry from the Cove, and we went to the very first day of what's the opening of the hunting season and the slaughter.
Oh no!
Which is Taiji, Japan, which is a fucking schlep. You think, okay, I'm going to hop on the bullet train. I'll get there in like an hour. Well, you go on the bullet train for a couple hours, and then you hop on this really old train that's like the old bullet train from like 1965 or something. And you go about another 6 hours across Japan.
Shut up.
And then you end up in this little town outside Taiji. So we went down there and we hung out on the Cove there, where basically the hunters, there's about 15 boats, and they all go out and they trap a pot of dolphins and they push them towards the shore into this cove, which is, I couldn't even believe I was standing there watching this. But the very first day I was there, they captured an entire pod of bottlenose dolphins, which are the most intelligent of the dolphin family. They're the ones that are easy trainable dolphins that they use at SeaWorld and all these other, amusement parks and aquariums and such. So basically, I saw this herd being driven in, and then they hold them in the Cove overnight, and then the next day they come in and they do what's called the selection process, where what people don't really know about the Cove is the real horror story behind it is the captivity of the dolphins. So basically, what's happening there is the captive dolphin industry has gotten huge worldwide. We hear about SeaWorld and Blackfish and all these things. Well, America has more captive animals than any place else in the world. But besides that, in Taiji, that particular day they took 18 bottlenose dolphins out of the water. Basically raped, took them from their families. And the pods travel in families. So they have the grandmother, the uncle, the aunt. I know this is quite a diversion from Mitchell Brothers, which was a lot more laughable.
No.
And a lot more fun. But this is
so. It shows the spectrum that we.
Yeah, that was them, me doing piles of cocaine now,
We
me now
love
saying
dolphins.
dolphins. But anyway.
It's important.
Hey, man, you got to, if you're going to do it, go for it. That's what I say in any genre.
Happiness comes from balance.
That's right, balance. So basically what happens with the captive dolphin trade is these dolphins are kidnapped from their family, put into a small tank that is about 20 by 20 square, and they'll cram about 5 dolphins in there. And then what they do is they starve them to death, and they start to feed them dead fish, and they train them. And they sell these dolphins between $30,000 to $100,000 each to different aquariums around the world. The one biggest place that's going now is Dubai. People are building these massive hotels, and they're putting these swim with dolphin programs, and then people have them in aquariums and things around the
They
world.
pay rock stars a lot of money to perform there,
They do. And long story short, basically the captive dolphin trade has gone up to a point where it's just completely out of control. Like, for instance, like if you go to Mexico and you're on a cruise ship, they offer you, oh, let's go swim with dolphins. Well, these particular dolphins are in a swimming pool and they're living in a captive environment that's very, very uncomfortable.
Matt,
for
I
them.
have to ask you something.
Yeah.
The most piercing scenes in the Cove are when they are literally beating the life out of these dolphins right there in the water as they're coming into the Cove. And they're slaughtering them. Did you see that take place?
Well, the first month I was there, they don't slaughter the dolphins. The first month is more of a captive thing.
Right.
Luckily, I didn't have to see that.
Yeah.
But Rick O'Barry has been there, and he's become a really good friend of mine. I've been working with the Dolphin Project. But they basically drive them underneath a tarp now, so they're not even allowed to really watch because they know they're being watched by the world.
Right.
They're being streamed every day by Sea Shepherds, which is, you know about the Sea Shepherds. Paul Watson and those guys are there. And then dolphinproject.org streams this event. So now they cover the entire cove with tarps, drive the dolphins, and they ram a spike through their forehead,
Oh,
and
stop.
yeah, it's horrible. But the thing about it is, think about thing about Japan is Caroline Kennedy. I don't know if you guys are following this, but Caroline Kennedy, which is the only remaining daughter of JFK, our famous president, is the ambassador to Japan now, and she was the first person ever in the government to ever speak out against it and say, this is barbaric. I mean, how can this still be happening in modern times? That this kind of treatment of, especially our wildlife, and not. We could get into a whole other subject on animals in general, but
doesn't stop there, man.
This particular situation, there's so much politics that goes around. We could get into that for a couple. I don't know how much time you got, but or I got. But,
I want to talk about your new records.
But there's the record has a lot to do with what I've been thinking about.
I think your consciousness of this taking place in your life, what you're witnessing, is now reflected in your music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Because it's funny because like when we start talking about like drugs and alcohol and partying and strippers and stuff, I go into that guy for a second and then I kind of laugh because I look at it like, yeah, fuck, I did that, and I say to a lot of people, they go, hey man, you don't fucking party anymore and you don't fucking drink? I mean, like, what's your deal? I'm like, dude, if I fucking drank right now, I'd have to fucking kill you. Just because that's what I would do. But no, I got an extra large T-shirt and it says "Been there, fucking done that." You know what I'm saying? Like I look at it like this: God gives you a certain amount of stuff to do in your life, right? Like He gives you like nice glasses and maybe like sunglasses. He gives you sunglasses. He'll give you like 200 pair. You lose them however you want, right? He'll give you a big fucking pile of cocaine. Do it all at once, or spread it out.
Spread it out over 20 years.
And not that God did make cocaine. It showed up in Peru somewhere. I mean, it came from originally. These guys figured it out.
They just figured out.
Okay,
it's from a plant.
It's a plant.
Yeah.
People are gonna go, God gave us cocaine. They're gonna be you sinner.
The Rastafarians believe that herb in the Bible is the marijuana.
Yeah,
it's the herb. It's God's herb.
Right.
Okay. So
everything on this planet has been given to us to do with it what we will. Like for alcohol, I did. You can consume. The word moderation, I just never learned that word. What the fuck does that mean? It's like
you were an extremist.
It's like you remember when you used to come backstage and
I did. I witnessed it. I was never much of a drinker, but. Yeah, dude, you had such a constitution.
But I really think that
powerful.
Brought me to where I am now.
Of course,
it's sort of like the famous guy that discovered the Earth.
That he was around? Or
no, the dude in the boat. The dude in the boat.
Not Columbus.
Columbus. I'm like Columbus. Like I'm on the fucking ship, right? I'm just raging with my pirate buddies, right? We're fucking like,
dude, Captain Phillips.
We're fucking like raging, And then all of a sudden, I just fall off the edge of the earth into like a dolphin pool, and then I am swimming, and they've saved me, and now here I am. I made this record, Matt Soren's Fierce Joy, and it's the all new me.
And it is an evolution of Matt Sorum. I've watched the evolution, and there's some beautiful titles on this record.
Thank you.
But I want to hear what Ziggy says first, because you and I both come from the same cloth. We come from Bowie land.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Matt Sorum is here. Steve Cohen, a whole slew of people in the studio. It's a 1-year anniversary of Energize, the Law and Friend podcast. Dude, that is so joyful. That's Matt Sorum, Fierce Joy. That song is called What Iggy Says. And it is fucking awesome. Dude, anything that harkens all the young dudes to me takes me to a higher level of reality. And for a minute, I felt, whoa, he's carrying me on those Bowie wings.
Yeah.
He had wings, dude.
Yeah, I felt like the groove. I was like, I didn't play drums on the album. I used a drummer named Brian McLeod. He's played with Sheryl Crow and worked a lot with Linda Perry. And I said to him, give me a kind of a T-Rex kind of groove, real like sludgy and sexy. Yeah. And then the bass player, I'm like, give me kind of a Bowie kind of like bass thing. And it was that kind of a conversation,
Yeah. So it came together rather effortlessly because these guys were hip.
They were hip to the vibe. Yeah. I used most of the guys on the album were all guys that I'd known from around town that aren't famous guys, but are very well versed in everything that I love. And the album, when I made the album, I really wanted it to be an organic live thing. I didn't use any computers or, we recorded into the Pro Tools, but I didn't mess with the music. I didn't you hear a lot of stuff on the radio now, and it's all like everything's moved around and the vocals are tuned. I didn't do any of that.
That song had a big sound.
Thank you.
Big sound.
Live horns on that record.
Oh, Lanny co-wrote songs with you.
Lanny Cordola co-wrote.
Fucking love Pakistani Lanny.
Yeah, I got a heavy-duty Pakistan tune on here too. That was
beautiful.
Lanny's.
I'm gonna totally fucking. This is gonna be spinning in my deck. I can finally take Beck's This Morning out of my CD player.
That's a very good album,
dude. It's been in there for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Spinning every round like this.
Yeah, my record's on iTunes too. It's not in under B, but
You're
it's
gonna be
under.
spinning. You're gonna be spinning in the Camry.
I can tell you where I got the name of the band from if you'd like to know. If you're interested.
Yeah, I'm
because everyone
interested
said,
in everything.
remember everyone said, "Why Fierce Joy?"
Why Fierce Joy?
Well,
Manzorm?
2 years ago, I got a call from a guy named Lemmy Kilmister.
Hello,
and I was,
Matt, it's Lem.
Yeah. He texted me and he said, is it Matt? It's Lem. That's what he sounds like on his text. He says, Matt, it's Lemmy. And I need you to drum. I'm like, well, huh? So I text him back, and I'm out by the pool with my beautiful wife now, Ace. And, you know, my hands are very soft because I haven't been on the road in a while. I'm not really in tour mode. I say, when do you want me to play? He says, 3 days from now. Meet us in Washington. No rehearsal. So I get a DVD, and I learn the entire Motorhead set off this DVD. And I say, why are you calling me? He says, because Dave Grohl wasn't available. I'm like, okay. Dave Grohl gets all the gigs. You know, Paul McCartney, you know what I mean?
Hey, dude, that's an okay
Yeah,
number.
so I
too.
go and I meet. It's a true story. I do a sound check at the 930 Club.
Great.
And I play that night with Motorhead, where I thought I was going to get killed by guys in biker jackets and chicks in moccasin boots. You know, chicks wear moccasin boots. You ever seen those chicks with tattoos? They got more tattoos than me. I mean, they're hot. And my wife says, I said, are you gonna worry about me being on the road with Motorhead? She says, not at all. Like, there's no chicks there. I mean, there's just no chicks. There's a couple, but, you know, that's about it.
It's a sausage
So,
fest.
anyway, I go out on the road, and by the end of the tour, I'd done about 14 dates. We're in Austin at the Stubbs Barbecue. And by that time, my hands are completely blistered. I'm like a bloody mess. There's blisters on my fingers.
Yeah, helter skelter.
Because I am rocking with Motorhead every night. We're just throwing down. And we did this interview for Enemy Magazine, and Lemmy says, my life is like Fierce Joy. If I wasn't playing rock and roll, I'd be digging ditches.
Dude.
And I went, what did he say?
Dude, you took notes on
Yes,
something Lemmy said.
I did.
And there was an album cover hidden in there.
Yes, and about 6 months later, I just loved the way that sounded. It was this oxymoron. It's like, if you want to be joyful in your life, what that said to me is you have to strive for it.
Yeah.
Right? You have to, like, really work hard and being happy and getting your life in order and all that shit. So this album really is about that. So I called Lemmy and I go, do you remember when you said, I'm talking like, I go, hi, Lemmy, it's Matt. Do you remember when you said Fierce Joy? No. I said, no. What are you talking about? I said, man, we did this interview and I really loved it. And I said, can I use that? Yeah, sure, whatever.
Of course,
man. So
he said
anyway,
yeah.
that's where the title of the record
Lemmy
comes.
would
And
say
I just,
yeah.
I love Lemmy because I went on the road with these guys, right, with Motorhead, and I was like scared because I'm off drugs and shit, and like, and I'm like, you know where they got the name, right? Comes from doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whoa, I'm on a tour bus with these guys. So I'm on this bus with Lemmy, and man, I just fell in love with the guy. I've heard of Man Love, and Dave Grohl loves him and shit. Like Dave
Lemmy
Grohl's
Love.
got Man Love.
Yeah.
But I just love the dude, and every night I'd sleep in the back bunk, and Lemmy'd be in the back lounge, and I'd hear.
War movies.
Like loud, too.
Games, right?
Every night, war movies.
War movies.
Like every war movie known to man.
Games
right?
or
I'd be
movies.
I'm like,
Either
what'd you
way.
watch last night? The Battle of the Bulge. Right? Or that,
But
you
he's
know,
a historian,
like
man.
every,
He's a historian.
Pearl Harbor. You know,
The guns of Navarro.
yeah, Guns of Navarro.
He knows his history,
It's
man.
amazing.
He's
Yeah.
a learned man.
Yep.
I have always thought him and Bruce Dickinson were the two smartest British rockers I ever met.
I wish Bruce Dickinson was flying that Malaysian Airlines.
Yeah, I would have got there.
Fuck. Are you kidding me? You know the guy flies his own airplane.
Yeah, Bruce flies the 707.
Ron did an interview with him, right?
Travolta.
No, he took me on his Cessna. I was
Ooh,
co-pilot.
now that's a little scary.
From L.A. to Vegas when Maiden played with Rob Halford and Queensryche. I think it's 2001 or 2, around that area. He goes, "You want to be my co-pilot?" I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Fly with me, Vegas." I go, "Really?" "Yeah, we'll go over Area 51. I go, "Fuck yeah." So I get on the plane with Bruce Dickinson, and he goes, "I'm checking the levels." He's walking around. He's doing all the level checks and shit. I go, "This is really cool." And he's just the nicest guy. He looks like what you say. You could pass him in the hallway. You'd never know.
Yeah. Was that a Cessna with a prop on it, or what?
It had a jet prop thing.
Oh, okay.
So that's what he was flying the band in the beginning. He goes, "I flew this everywhere." I go, "Okay, I sound like Lemmy doing Bruce Dickinson." He goes, "Lon, I flew this everywhere." I go, "Like where?" "All over the world."
Have you seen the documentary?
Oh yeah, dude,
it's amazing.
Totally.
666. It's called.
Yeah, it's called Flight 6. Yeah, we're in the scene in the dressing room. Me and Junkman. For a second, we're standing next to Carrie King, and that's why and Lars, and that's why they show us, and Scotty and Lars. We flew to the desert, and he's talking to the tower, and I go, "Bruce, are we going over there?" He goes, "No, that is Area 51.
Right, yeah,
he goes, "Lon will get shut down. I won't be on
fly
stage.
around that
I'll
stuff."
never make the stage by 8 o'clock." Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, dude. We
That's
flew
right.
around it.
Some weird stuff going on out there.
Oh, dude, don't even. I live in the desert now.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
I just shot my video out near Joshua Tree. I stayed at the Joshua.
The best.
I stayed at the Joshua Tree Inn.
Awesome.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Joshua Tree Inn, but a very famous singer-songwriter named Graham Parsons, passed away there in room number 8.
Room number 8.
I stayed in room number 11.
That's my number 11.
Which is actually the Donovan suite. The folk
Hey,
suite.
we got Donovan. I got a Donovan song.
That's so cool.
Synchronicity and intuition.
Come on.
See how this happened?
So I stayed in the Donovan suite, and I shot my video in the Donovan suite. And then I cruised out to like Area 61 near 29 Palms.
Okay.
There's some weird stuff going on out
Oh,
there.
I know.
I used to live out there.
There's
You
weird,
did?
There's weird people out there.
Military base.
Wow. Wait a minute. You have all your teeth, though.
Marine Corps. My dad was a major. So
I met
he
a lot of people with no teeth out there. It's
You're an officer.
Do you know both Diana and Danielle come from military?
Really?
Yeah. Right?
I'm a Navy and Army brat.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Retired.
Just Marine Corps.
Marine Corps.
That's
Camp Pendleton, 29 Palms,
Wow, I've
Camp
been to
Lejeune.
Camp Pendleton. I've been there. I do a thing with Wounded Warriors down there, and that's like a town all its own, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a world of its own.
What's it like?
It's trippy. You go through a gate, and then all of a sudden you're in like Camp Pendleton world, and they got their own mall.
Like Disneyland?
Most
Not
bases
really.
have their own
They actually are their
commissary
very own. Like my birth certificate says March Air Force Base, California. Like it doesn't say
It's not a
the
city.
Mm-mm.
The base is.
These are cities unto themselves. Small
Yeah.
communities with all the services you need
Right.
and
Everything you need in there.
everything. You don't have to leave.
But it's
Compound.
even like that overseas, like in Germany, like they have Taco Bell at the army bases in Germany. So like when I lived in Germany, everybody wanted to go
So
to
they're
Taco
feeding
Bell.
they're feeding our troops with the highest fiber.
Yeah.
Highest
The 10-pack, same price?
Do they get deals?
Deutschmarks.
They get military discounts.
Let me tell you, when I was drinking, there was nothing like a 10-pack of Taco Bell. Get you all lubed right back up. Right?
At my little
Give you something
brother's.
solid to poop
Come
out.
on, you haven't been hungover lately, have you?
No,
She hasn't.
I choose hummus and pita. 'cause
Really?
I'm so fancy.
That's so healthy of you.
I know, but I do get hungover.
I was like that too. I'd be like coming off of like a week-long binger and drinking like green drinks.
Yeah, green drinks.
You know,
That's what I
thinking-
drink now.
Going to the health food store.
That's what I do now.
It's a good recovery.
Now I do
it
it
now.
Now I do it now, but I cut all the other stuff out.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
It's amazing. I feel really good.
You look good too. You look handsome. So,
Thank you.
So you're the synchronicity, the fact that we're connected, like you know, we go way back. You must have sent me a psychic message because the Donovan rap. I have the stoniest of all Donovan songs, the one he wrote that just sounds like he's flying so high. Hurdy-gurdy, man.
Yeah, cool, man.
We're going to listen to that and come back and talk some more to Matt Sorm and the gang here on the first anniversary. You know, it's like, listen to him at the beginning, dude.
I played this.
Oh, man. Lon Friend, Energize. Energize the Lon Friend Concept podcast.
Whoa, I'm
That's
stoned.
That's cheese pizza from Steve's Village Pizzeria in Larchmont in Hollywood, right next door to Niels Lozauer's studio.
Are you guys open like during earthquakes and stuff?
Yeah,
Because
in fact, I was checking up a generator today. That's funny you said. I was working and going to pick up a generator, but
yeah, check it out. So
yeah.
the big earthquake, the last one, was that like 90 something?
91, 89, 91.
No, 94.
94. I was in town.
January 20th.
And the only place that was open was Damiano's Pizza. Those
Closed
guys
down. They closed that store down.
Those guys
January 17th.
Because it's so dirty and horrible, right? Wasn't it like
somebody bought them out?
Oh,
because they didn't have ratings back then, like A, B, C, and D.
It was like F minus. It's like extra cockroach with
beyond the alphabet.
So I go to Matt. I go,
Dark.
how fucking cool is this Donovan record? He goes, dude, Matt, that's John Bonham on drums.
That's the story. And you know, I not to like bloat that I know everybody in the world, but I have hung with Donovan, and he's been to my studio, and I tried to get him to sing harmony on this track, but he sang. I'm like, can you go? He go, and I'm like, no, I just need a note, like one note. And then I asked him, I said, hey man, was that Jimmy Page on guitar on Hurdy Gurdy Man? So I really don't remember. I remember calling Jimi Hendrix, but the story is it's Jimmy Page. But to be honest, I was stoned and I don't remember. And then check it out. So we get this.
So much that I remember.
So since we're on Donovan, so I get this call from his son Donovan Leach, which I'm in a band. I was in a band called Camp Freddy with, and we get this call. Your father's been invited to go play for a gentleman named Ron Burkle.
Ron Burkle.
Cat owns
billionaire.
Cat owns like Ralph's.
Billionaire,
and other stuff.
Yeah.
So we go to this house, and Donovan Sr. says to me, Matt, will you accompany me on tambourine and shakers? I'm like, yeah. So we go to this house. He has no idea what he's doing. It's Donovan, and we go to Ron Burkle's mansion in Bel Air, which it looks like the White House. It's like $100 million thing. And you know, we went past the guest house, and I was like, "Whoa, this is unbelievable!" I go, "No, that's just the garage." You know? And then we're like, and then we go in, right? And it's heavy. It's like Babyface and like the cat that did Chicago, the big producer.
Okay.
Foster. David Foster. And some senator that I don't know, but I recognized him. And all these heavies, and Donovan's like the man of the hour.
Right.
So David Foster gets up and says, "We have a real world treasure here, a treasure of the world, and I'd like to introduce him now, and the other guy that's with him on tambourine and backing vocals." So we sat down and we did "Call Me Mellow Yellow" and Hurdy and
the other guy
and the other dude. I said, "Hey man, I went out with your daughter once." I said, "Don't give me any shit, man. I know you. You ran over that fucking famous singer. I know you. He ran over, what's his face? He ran over, you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
David Foster?
No,
did?
David Foster ran over fucking,
check your Google.
He ran over fucking,
Daddy. His wife is on the Real Housewives.
Come on,
of
Google
Beverly
that shit.
Hills.
No, he ran over
David.
his famous singer.
Who did David Foster run over? We have many iPhones in this room.
Yeah, and his daughter's super hot. And yeah, look that up. We'll get back to that. But anyway, that's my Donovan story. So I hung with Donovan. It was a trip. And then I went down and I played Hurdy Gurdy Man at this David Lynch Foundation for meditation.
Okay.
David Lynch.
TM, he's heavily into
heavily into TM. So Donovan says, will you accompany me to this meditation gig? So I'm like, huh? What? Like, you cats are still doing that shit? I'm like, I'm in. He's like, yeah, we're going. So I go and I play.
What?
Ben Vereen.
Ben Vereen. He fucking ran over Ben Vereen.
He ran over Ben Vereen.
Yeah, he produced all those cheesy Chicago songs that did Ben Vereen. But
he
he's
was quite a tap dancer.
But anyway,
Ben
so
Vereen.
David Foster was there. So I go to this meditation thing, and I'm like, I'm going to play Hurdy Gurdy Man with Donovan. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he was inducted the same year as us. And he said that amazing poem. We just went on forever. And he didn't have a teleprompter.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
But still, no matter what Donovan did on stage, nothing trumped the drama of your Guns N' Roses Hall of Fame induction. Nothing trumped it.
Well, maybe the Sex
You
Pistols
had
or Van Halen.
You had good. Well, you know what? Kiss is trying to outdo it right now. But
A lot of controversy.
Dude, I'll dress up.
I think it's
Lots
I
of
think it's Gene's
controversy.
manipulation of the marketplace.
Naturally.
That's what
I think they should send a bunch of other fucking fools up there dressed in that shit.
And they're
like
making
some young guys.
They're insulting, at least insulting the other two, Tommy and the other guy. They're saying that they're not even worthy.
There's a lot of members of Kiss that get no
Yeah,
credit.
but Tommy's not. Those guys are not worthy.
You know what happened, though?
13 years is not worthy.
You know what happened? The fucking Grateful Dead fucked all that up.
They did.
They brought like 52 friends with them.
They did.
They did.
They were like spinners on stage.
Yeah, they had like, that's the dude that
grilled
used to bring
cheese
us
one.
our joints.
The grilled
and-
cheese truck.
The grilled cheese truck driver.
No. Okay, really quick.
Incense holder.
Since we're just telling fucking stories.
Oh, Matt, tell the fucking Mickey Hart story.
Okay.
tank
No, wait.
person.
This is one of Matt Sorb's greatest fucking
Okay,
stories.
so I'm recording at this place called the Record Plant in Sausalito, in San Francisco.
Yes, famous.
And I'm up there and I'm recording with this guy Jerry Harrison from Talking Heads.
Yeah, made the Bogman record.
And
first
yeah,
one.
yeah, he made your record.
Yeah, he did.
And a very talented guy. I get a phone call. Front desk beeps, man. They said, "There's a gentleman named Mickey Hart on the phone for you from the Grateful Dead." I'm like, "Fucking cool, man." Right? So this chick Kai that I went out with, the performance artist that I was married to,
Yep.
was also a spinner.
Oh, dude, stop.
She went to 600 fucking Grateful Dead shows and served top ramen in the parking lot topless and would spin and shit. So that's how I knew the Grateful Dead. And I saw Mickey Hart with her, and I didn't get it at all because I wasn't stoned. And I was like, "This just sounds like a bunch of guys playing different songs." And then I went to the Chinese New Year's show in San Francisco, and I smoked a big fatty.
Yeah.
And I went in and I went, "Oh my God, it's perfectly clear now.
Yeah.
This is amazing."
Dude, I took Jerry Harrison and the Bogman while we were making the record at the plant to see the Grateful Dead.
It
at
was
Oakland
insane, but you
Coliseum.
got to be stoned.
Oakland,
You have to be
Dude,
stoned.
You had to be.
So I'm stoned and I get it. So anyway, I get this call from Mickey Hart, and he says, "Hello, Matt. It's Mickey Hart." He's not English. Like, "Hello, Matt. It's Mickey Hart."
You gotta get out of the first.
Wait.
Let me screw you up.
"Hello, Matt. It's Mickey Hart.
That's better.
I live in Sebastopol, and I'm sending a car to pick you up. Would you like to come up, man? I'm gonna make a fish paella for you." I'm like, "Okay, paella. I'm down with paella. I haven't had it since Marbella, Spain in '98." And I said, "Okay." So I get in the town car and I cruise to Sebastopol. It's up there past.
It's past San Francisco, the other side
bunch
of the
of
bridge.
trees.
Other side of the bridge, and
Les
it's a
Claypool
very.
has a
Let's-
wine
It's
Les
a wine
Claypool country.
It's wine country.
Trippy people live up there.
It's
so
rich wine country.
I go and the gates open, right? And the first thing I see is a llama. You know what a llama looks like?
Yeah.
Michael Jackson had one.
Yeah.
And a llama goes by. It's got like two hooves coming out of its back.
Yeah.
And it looked kind of like a camel, but like a llama.
Okay.
Two heads. And then it goes by, and I'm like, "Whoa!"
I'm glad
and then
we're
I
getting
see,
back into wildlife.
and then I see a lake, and there's like geese, and there's like a big fountain in the middle, and the car drives me to this like kind of guest house, and I walk in, and there's a guy standing there with a bowl of paella. I swear to God,
Yeah.
big bowl with like prawns in it and
Yeah.
stuff. And I sit down and I'm eating this paella. I'm like, "Wow, this is too cool." and then I'm like, "Where's Mickey, man?" So all of a sudden, Mickey comes in smoking a big fatty. He goes, "I'm so glad you could make it. Do you like the paella?" And I'm like, "It's amazing. Best I've had since Marbella, Spain, '98." Right? So I go, "This is awesome. I love your pad." He goes, "You want to see the drums?" So I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, "Come to my barn." So me and Mickey Hart walk through this property. It's like 60 acres. We go to this fucking barn, right? And he passes me a big fat joint. Now we're both smoking. I'm like, "Yeah, paella and a big and." Like the pot, I don't know where they grew it, but I think it was like Jerry's pot because this shit was like
It was Jerry's.
Whoa. Yeah, I smoked some of his pot ones too.
Yeah.
But so I go into this barn and we're looking at all the drums, and there's these two drums that are like 30 feet high with a ladder going up to them.
Whoa.
He goes, "I bought those in Bali, right? And I had to have two of them." I go. "They're fucking huge. How'd you get them back?" They're like trees. So he goes, "Climb up that one, and I'll climb up that one, and we can jam." So I'm up there, and I'm fucking playing this tree thing with these big like sticks, and I'm jamming with Mickey, and then we're walking around, And then he takes me up in the balcony and shows me all these tapes of every Grateful Dead show.
Oh, man.
And then he goes, have you ever figured out how much money you made every time you hit the drum? And I went, what? He goes, I did it once. I had a guy behind me, and he had a clicker. And then whatever I got paid that night, I divided it by every time I hit the drum. I went, I bet you guys made a lot of money because you didn't fucking have any lights or anything. It's like you owned your own PA and shit. They owned all their own shit, you know.
You never had wardrobe.
They didn't do wardrobe.
No wardrobe.
Yeah.
They have to pay the clicker
So
guy, though?
yeah, it's awesome. So then we sit down at the console. He's got this console. He's like, listen to this shit, man. It's like this drum track. Check it out. And then there's these 3 buttons like this, right, Lon?
Yeah.
And he pushes one.
Yeah.
And a guy walks in,
Yeah.
puts a joint in his mouth and lights it. And I went, whoa.
Like a bell.
I went, what do the other 2 buttons do? Right? I'm like, he's like, well, that one's for this kind of shit, and that one's for this kind of. I'm like, well, I'll just have the same thing you're having. I push that, and the guy came in and went, whoop, boom. He goes, I'm like, wow. This is too cool. And then there was another dude walking through the barn, like
Right.
keeping the fireplace lit.
Okay.
That was his job. He was like the log guy. And this dude was the joint guy. And then he goes, okay, now we're going to take a ride on my golf cart. And I'm going to take you to listen to some music in the Japanese garden. He's like, I have my own radio station. Right? No. He had a 1-watt radio station so he could listen to his music modulating through the speakers. So we drive out. We drive out to this Japanese garden. Now I'm really stoned because this pot is good.
Yeah.
And I drive out to this Japanese garden, and he opens these fake rocks, and there's speakers in there.
Fake rocks.
Yeah. And we sit down, and he's got a walkie-talkie. He goes, roll the tape. And now, yeah, swear to God, true story.
This is like our man Flint.
And then I woke up in my bed. I said, was that true? Did that really happen? No, and that was a true story.
It did really happen.
I hung out with Mickey, and I found the Polaroid, because I had a Polaroid camera.
Sure.
And I took a picture of me and him with a Polaroid. I have it at home. And he signed his book, Planet Drum. If you ever get a chance to read it, check it out. He went around the world and studied all the cultures that use drums through time, which is the only thing that really ties us all together.
I think when I came on a trip to visit my big brother in San Francisco, I may have been, it must have been 75, 76, maybe earlier. And I got into Michael Shreve's place in Mill Valley. And that Woodstock performance, still I have, and I play.
Yeah.
I don't play drums. I play like knees and tables and stuff.
Yeah.
And that was...
He was like 15 when he did that.
Exactly. And being in his place, I felt like,
that's cool.
Then I had another occasion to be the first drummer of Journey.
Yeah, Ainsley Dunbar.
And Bowie.
Who was the second? Who was after him?
Steve Smith.
Steve Smith lived in Northern California, Marin, and I went. And then he sold his house, but he sold the house with his drum room, and the room was padded, completely padded, like must have been this thick, all 4 walls, ceiling, floor, everything. It was incredible sound.
Something right there.
Incredible sound.
Crazy drummers go in there. That's where we need to stay.
Here's a memo I would read.
Yeah.
I lit Mickey Hart's joints.
Yeah. That's
by whatever the dude's name was.
The pot butler.
Yeah.
The pot butler by the pot butler.
Yeah, man.
The pot butler.
Celebrity pot butler.
Over those days with the Dead and Bill Graham. And
Well, this is another real quick.
Oh no, they played fucking Shoreline Amphitheater with Skid Row, dude. One of the great fucking nights ever.
You were there.
I was there.
Do you remember Bill Graham screaming?
That because Sebastian's not on stage.
No. Sebastian Skid Row went on, and Axl was locked in his dressing room. And the famous...
We remember that rainy night. We thought we heard every power go out. We thought that was when his helicopter went down, leaving the Concord Pavilion.
We played 2 nights at the Shoreline Amphitheater.
Wait a minute. What happened? Axl was locked out?
Okay,
of his dressing room?
Axl was usually late. You remember.
Yeah, dude.
Like, you could have gone and talked to him or something, Lon. How come you didn't go talk to him?
I don't know.
So there's this guy, there's this very large man. We had a lot of football players working for us. We had a guy named Earl Gabadon.
Love Earl, big Earl.
He used to play for the Florida Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
And we had another guy named Jerry Gendron who played for, I believe, the Denver Broncos, right? Is that correct?
I don't know.
Jerry Gendron, he was our big, massive guy that carried the money.
Yeah.
And you didn't want to, in those days, we used to go, the guy would go out to the front at the end of the night and get a lot more cash receipts.
Yeah.
So he'd be carrying a couple $100 grand. You want a big guy
carrying
that, right? So a lot of dough in there and the merchandise money and all that stuff. So anyway, Jerry Genren was standing in front of the door, and Bill Graham, the legendary promoter, is running around going, I've worked with Jimi Hendrix. I've worked with Janis Joplin. I've worked with The Doors. I've worked with The Grateful Dead. And never, ever in my career have I fucking seen this kind of shit. and Slash goes, well, now you have. Like, typical Slash. Typical Slash. Well, now you have, man. Like, I used to get all frustrated and shit, like, because Axe would be late all the time. And I'd be pacing around, and there would be Slash. You know what he'd say? Matt, relax, man. Just make yourself a cocktail. Just make yourself a cocktail, man. Relax. Like, fucking 3 hours later, we're fucking hammered. Yeah. It's like we go on stage, we're like, just relax, man. It's cool. Everything's cool. And I'd be like, where's that fucking guy, man? I'm looking at.
What a calming influence Slash was
Isn't
on
he?
Guns N' Roses.
I'll tell you a real quick Scott Weiland story.
Okay, that's a good one.
So fucking Scotty Waddy Ding Dong, as I like to refer to him as. Okay, so Scotty Waddy Ding Dong. We just get him in Velvet Revolver. He's our new singer. I'm like, oh, great. This is like, okay. Really? We're signing up for this? Okay. So
because Clive Davis is giving you a boatload
No.
of money.
This is before all that.
Okay.
We have a movie called The Hulk with Ang Lee, and we have this song called Set Me Free. And now we're going to play it live for everybody. Like, all the heavies are coming, like the Suits, like the dudes with the checkbooks and shit. Yeah. Like Kathy Nelson from Universal and, Harvey Weinstein and all these people, like heavies. Yeah. So they all show up at the studio. We get there, right? No Scott. It's like an hour goes by. They're still like all the heavies are sitting there like, where's the singer? And I'm freaking out. And Slash is being, how cool Slash can be, right? He's just like, So we're calling him. Scott's like, hey, I'm just around the corner, man. I'm just around the corner, man. And we're like, that's going on for like an hour and a half, right? So finally he shows up and he's got the hat and the sunglasses on. And we're all like, fuck. And this is like a pretty big check. We're gonna we're all gonna get like at least a good down payment on a house or something.
Okay.
So a lot of jingola going down. And he shows up and he's obviously had a pretty good night the night before, maybe the night before that, maybe the night before that. But Slash, like, I wanted to just kind of like go like just like kill him. But Slash does one of these where he goes, hey Scott, you better sing your fucking ass off right now, because if you don't, I'm gonna have to kill you. But he says it like real quiet, like really like, wow, how did he just do that? And you see Scott's face because he's like, because that shit could scare you.
Yeah.
Like when someone's that calm about killing you, like that's scary. So all of a sudden he goes, all of a sudden Scott starts fucking wiggling like Iggy meets Mick Jagger, and he kicks into the vocal and set me free, and everyone's clapping, and I'm fucking like wiping the sweat off my brow. I'm like, fuck, we got through that, and we ended up putting that song in this movie, The Hulk, with Ang Lee, which was not the biggest successful movie. It was a very arty version of The Hulk. But because of that song, Velvet Revolver got signed by Clive Davis.
Yep.
Your old boss.
My old boss. Oh,
but that day was tough.
Yeah. Yeah, fucking A.
Yeah.
Dude, nothing's worse than sitting in a room with these judgmental millionaires who are going to have your fate or your success in their hands, and they want you to dance. They really want you to fucking dance. And Scott was the dancer. He was the jester.
I couldn't get up there and dance like him. I mean, he's the dancer.
He had to dance. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I fucking love that.
He was so good that David Foster missed him.
Yeah, David Foster didn't even show up. Yeah. Where was David Foster that day?
Running somebody over, probably.
Yeah.
Hey, where's your phone? I want to play the cult song, and I want you, after this, we listen to this, I want you to tell me about the recording of this fucking great record. Okay. Danny, you ready?
Ba-ba-bum.
Ready?
Danny's going to do the music this time, Mike.
All right.
Okay, go.
Take me back.
Go.
Oh, right.
The Cult, Firewoman, Sonic Temple.
Yeah.
Good title. That was a good title.
Yeah, Ian always came up with the cool titles.
Matt, when you and I were hanging out a couple of years ago, and you were telling me stories about your life, and we were sort of rolling a lot of tape, you told me the greatest cult story about that took place in London early in your cult years, like a getting to know Ian kind of an evening.
Oh, yeah, which one?
Pick one. They were all good.
You're talking about when he'd go into his sort of rearranging the hotel kind of Keith Moon stuff, that stuff? Or when he got into his spray painting kind of stuff? Which one?
Keep going. Come on.
The one
My bar's high tonight, man.
Oh, you're talking
It's
about...
the anniversary show.
Oh, I know what one you're talking on the Metallica tour where he did the whole thing and he came in my room and the poo-poo thing?
Yeah, poo-poo thing.
Okay, the poo-poo thing. Okay. So I just joined the cult, right? I'm a kid from California, right? I'm a surfer kid. But I was into cool music. You know, I grew up with English music. I grew up with all the great English bands. So that was my background.
Just like me.
So as a drummer, I wanted to emulate that style. So when I got the audition for the cult, I got it through Steve Jones from the Pistols and some other friends of mine that recommended me, right? So I get the gig. And Ian says to me, the first thing he says to me is, I used to smile when I used to sit behind the drums, but Ian comes in wearing all black, big hat, big cross around his neck and a skull on his hat. And he says, you got the gig, but just don't smile so much. Right? I'm like, is this where we're going, man? So, you know, we wore a lot of black. We were kind of coming right out of the goth period.
But you're cut from the happy Ringo drummer.
Yeah, I was, and my hair was curly too, and I was trying to figure out how to fix that.
You had the smile.
I had really curly hair, and they didn't dig my hair either. And they were like, so they started greasing my hair back, and I'd wear it kind of greased back, like very German.
Yes.
And I wore a lot of black. So anyway, we go on. The very first tour that we go on is the Justice for All Metallica tour.
Right on.
And Lars is a huge fan of the cult. So he brings us so they could get some freaking chicks in the audience, basically.
Right.
It's like 99% dudage, you know, and like Lars is like, God, I'm in a band, but there's like no chicks. I mean, it's like, what's the point? So they get the cult. They get the cult because we're like, you know, we're sexy rock and roll. Yes, Billy Duff would say, we play below the belt kind of rock and roll, you know, like, you know, hip from the hips down. Right? Sexy grooves. The chicks can dance to still.
Such a poet, Billy.
Right?
Duffy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Below the belt, below the waist, you know what I mean? And so we go on tour, and we're in this little town, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I'll never forget it. I was in room 626. Okay? And Billy says, whatever you do, don't answer the door for Ian after 2 a.m. Because he's usually not in his right mind. So I hear Ian going down the hallway. Hey, it's Ian. Let me in. See you. Come on, man. I just want to hang out. Come on, let me in. Next door goes next door. Come on, man. Let me in. It's Ian. I got beer. Let me in. Nobody answers, right? Everyone knows. Well, he gets to my door. Matt, come on, little buddy. We could be friends. It's Ian. Let me in, man. It's cool. I remember I'm on the phone to my brother at the time, and I'm in my Fruit of the Looms. I got my Fruit of the Looms on. I'm watching a little TV. I'm kicking it, having a brewski. I get up, and I open the door. All of a sudden, I look at him, and he looks like some sort of possessed demon. And he goes, hey, let's be friends, too. Whoa! And he enters my room like a tornado. And takes down the lamps and like the pictures off the walls, and then he actually has the mattress, and he's got the top of the mattress, and he's got it squeezed in two, and he's trying to get it through the window, like the mattress, right? And he's wearing a lamp on his head, and he's squeezing the mattress, and then he picks up a magazine, he opens the magazine, and he puts a picture of this guy's face on the ground, and then he drops his drawers. No. He's going, I'm going to shat on his face. And I said, come on, man, you're not shitting in my room, right? And he's like, I will shat on him. I will shat on his face. And I said, fuck you are. So I run down the hall and I get the fire extinguisher.
Oh, no.
I got the fire extinguisher and I said, no shouting in my room, you fucking wanker. Right? And I got the fire extinguisher and he goes, ha, 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 ha. And he's literally got the pants down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And everything's getting ready to load.
Yeah.
So I go, fuck you. And I blast him.
Oh.
With the fire extinguisher, which has all this white powder, like white powder, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's like now the room's filled with white powder. You know those little speakers? Have you ever noticed in your hotel there's a little speaker above your bed?
Yeah.
This woman's voice. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a drill. This is not a drill. We must evacuate the hotel. There is a fire on the 8th floor. Evacuate the hotel. Because this fucking smoke went into the thing. It's like powder, but it's like smoke. Now, me and Ian are both covered in white powder, and now we're the Blues Brothers. We're like Dan Aykroyd and fucking Belushi. Like,
no, man, we're musicians.
Bum, 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 bum. Again, we're in a Mission Impossible. Now what the fuck? Now everyone's going down the hallway in their bathrobes, like old people and shit. It's like 3 a.m, and I'm like, now we're like totally, now he's stone cold sober, and I'm like sober, and we put 2 bathrobes on, and we cover our heads, and we're covered in powder, and we get in the line.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay.
And then camouflage.
Yeah, and then we see like fire engines and shit pulling up, and like the car with the guy with the briefcase with the siren on top.
Yeah.
Like the car, like that guy.
The fire marshal.
The marshal.
The marshal.
So he comes in, and me and Ian hide in the bottom of the bus. And he's like, oh, my eye's killing me. I've scratched his cornea with the shit, right? So anyway, long story short, we pay like 10 grand for a false alarm, and we fuck up all this shit. And the next day we get to the Metallica show, and they're all wearing fire engine hats. and Ian's got a big patch over his eye. He looks like a pirate now. And they were fucking pissed. The crew was pissed. Like they'd taken all of our gear and rearranged it and shit because they were like, nobody got any sleep. They were up all night standing out in front of the hotel.
Oh, my God.
So that was that story.
Dude, what a
good times with Ian.
Yeah.
But he would like, the thing about Ian was me and him were drinking buddies, and it used to really kind of piss the rest of the band off. I remember I went to England. I don't know if you guys ever had a snake bite, but a snake bite is lager and cider. So it's a fucking lethal combination.
Okay.
You drink a couple of those babies and you're toast.
Yeah.
And then Ian, I don't give a fuck if he hears this or not, but I'm going to tell it anyway. Ian used to get very drunk, and he'd always say to me, Matt, I'm so cold. I said, well, what's wrong with you? He said, I'm cold. I think I'm just going to piss myself. So he always wore leathers. So he would pee in his leathers to like warm himself up. Because England's fucking cold. And he'd go,
I'd say that's a survival mechanism.
And then we'd sit there and he'd go, oh, I'm better now. And he would literally pee his pants. And he'd wear those same leathers for the whole fucking tour.
I do not judge.
Slash did the same thing though, but he would.
Yeah,
pass
Slash.
out
Okay,
his pants.
okay. Guns N' Roses. I joined the band, right? And I'm like the guy that showers after the show, right? Okay. And usually when you play in arenas, you're in a locker room kind of thing. You're in like where the hockey team, or wherever the basketball team or whatever. So you're in there, and there's those big showers where all those guys get in there, and I'm taking off my shit and I'm getting in the shower, and Duff goes, what are you doing, man? I'm taking a shower. And he's like, well, why?
Why it's Monday?
I'm like, what are you talking about? Like literally, I'm like, I had to actually tell Duff that he had money enough. Like, dude, you can go buy other clothes. Like you can buy. You don't have to wear those same pair of pants for like 6 months. You can actually go buy other ones. Like he's like, huh? Like what the fuck? I'm like,
when I interviewed Motley Crue, Dr. Feelgood Tour, Mick Mars said that he had the same leather trousers on since the beginning of the tour.
Yeah.
They were never washed.
The uniform
once.
Yeah. And the
he
food,
liked the ball sweat and everything in there.
Yeah, the food backstage was horrible too. It was like, what the fuck? I'm like, I mean, I like pizza, but not every night. I'm like, you guys, you guys have sold like 20 million records. Like we could get some fucking sushi or like barbecue, you know, something like, you know, edible. They're like, huh? It was awesome.
Velvet Revolver was a really good fucking musical experience. You made a couple solid records, man.
Thank you.
Good records.
I actually like the second record a lot, but
it's a strong record.
I think. What's that?
There was a good ELO cover.
Oh, thank you.
You got talking to the microphone.
I love that ELO cover.
What's the song?
Oh my gosh. No,
Jeff Lynne, man. You can't go any wrong there.
Oh my gosh. It's on the top
And I can't get you out of my head.
Yeah.
Oh, that's from El Dorado.
And there was also really good song Messages. Wasn't that about 9/11?
Yes, it was.
My birthday.
So you know that album.
Oh, I love that album.
You know, I think that album didn't get a fair shake. And
I don't think so
I'll tell you
either.
why. We gave 6 songs to the record company. And I think that was a mistake because I think those are the only 6 songs they ever listened to. You know those guys?
Oh, what? I worked for Clive Davis. Those were the dark
Yeah,
years,
that's
dude.
the single. But then we went and we played the whole album for Clive. And we had this party and Clive sat there. And
he
I love Clive.
Yeah, he listens.
And he had his notebook.
Yeah.
And you know what song he liked? Same one you did.
Message.
Whoa.
No,
can't get it out of my head.
He said,
so beautiful.
well, if you guys are ready to cross over, that would be the single. And we all went, fuck that, man. Fuck crossing over. No, like, okay, the Fall to Pieces video,
Yeah.
he hated it, right? Because we shot this video and Scott's shooting up in it and barfing in the toilet, which I thought was a little on the nose. Like, you don't really have to show that. We all know that you're getting loaded.
Yeah.
So we all get called to the Beverly Hills Hotel where Clive has his bungalow.
Yes.
Bungalow, whatever number it is.
The Hotel California.
Right. So Clive has the same bungalow, and you go there to meet with him, and like Rod Stewart's leaving, and you come in and you go, oh, hey, Rod, how you doing? You know, whoever he's hanging out with that day. Or Whitney at the time was around, which was cool. And I met her at Clive's party. That was really trippy. And she was really sweet. But anyway, I go to the bungalow, and I'm about 10 minutes late, and Clive's pissed. He goes, sit down and watch the video. And I'd never seen him mad before.
He talked to you in that tone?
Kind of. He went like, sit down and watch the video.
Jeez.
And I'd never seen him mad before.
Wow.
And
he usually gets that mad when there's too much mayonnaise in his tuna.
well, he made me come. He made me come. No, he made me come to the fucking kitchen to help him get the potato chips first and the drinks. And I went into his kitchen with Clive, and I thought I was gonna have to give him like something else, but I didn't. But I go, Van's like, take one for the team, Sorum. I'm like, no, not this time. No.
You could have taken it elsewhere, man.
Hey, I'll tell you a story about Sylvia Rohn in a little while. But anyway, so I go and I get the potato chips and I sit down and I watch the video. And we watch the video and Clive goes, I hate it. And we're like, oh. So he hated the video.
Okay.
Because he thought that song would have been a song that we could have gone like really.
Yeah,
really.
huge single ballad.
And he didn't like the video.
Right.
Because it was too like edgy.
Yeah, edgy.
He wanted it to be more mainstream
Safer.
and more more middle America. And then he had to go back to his group of guys that were more like, he was really good like that. He didn't ever really fucked with us because he didn't really know the genre.
Right.
Even though he always talked about Patti Smith.
And Janis Joplin.
And Janis Joplin.
Yeah.
When I signed Patti Smith.
Yeah. Oh, no, I heard those stories.
Yeah. So he would always go into that. So we go, well, what do you want, Clive? He goes, I want you to cut this, and I want you to do this. And ended up, Scott said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to cut that. So he started fighting with Clive. I go, don't do that either.
Yeah.
What's your name? What's that chick from American Idol who did that? And it wasn't good for her career.
Not
Carrie Underwood.
No, Kelly Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson. Yeah, she fought with Clive. I'm like, don't, he was really good to us. So we let his committee deal with it, and then we put the video out the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember that situation. But then when the Grammys came around, all of a sudden we're nominated for 3 Grammys, and all I could think was, Clive's got like a red button in his, right? No.
He's got a Mickey Hart button.
Clive had like 25 artists up for Grammys that year. So he has that red phone that rings.
Yeah.
Hi, it's Clive. Yeah, give them 3 Grammys. Right? I mean, come on. Right? So
yes.
I remember I go to they only do 10 Grammys on the air. We were up for Best Rock Album that year against Green Day, which had that American Idiot album.
Yeah.
Which
big album.
Not a rock band in my opinion, but that's another story. That's
big
another
album.
2 hours.
Big album.
Big album, very well done, very well executed. Yeah. So anyway, before the show, they give out the Grammys for the other things like rock performance. And Scott's sitting next to me, and he's got his whole speech like ready, and Cyndi Lauper's giving out the award. Right. And Scott goes, "Oh, I got to go for a smoke, man." I go, I wouldn't go for a smoke. They're moving through these pretty fast, Scotty. I really got to have a smoke. So he goes for a smoke. He's out having a smoke, and Cyndi Lauper goes, "Best rock performance, Velvet Revolver." And you know who's sitting there? Me. Yeah. So I go up, I go, "Thank you, Clive. I love you, Clive. I love you, RCA. I love you, Mom. I love you, God. I love you,
Marlboro.
I love you, everybody. I love you, Puff Daddy. I want to endorse. I want to endorse your vodka, whatever."
Where was Slash?
Slash was at home with his wife. I don't know. So I get the award, and then Scott comes back, and he's all pissed. He's like, "I wanted to do the speech, man." I'm like, just be in the moment, bro. We got the award. Be grateful. And so I got the award, and they show my face on the TV and shit. He's like, he's all pissed. So yeah, it was funny. And I then Clive drives by. We're getting ready to do the red carpet, and I see Clive pulling up his limo. And I go, "We got the Grammy!" Right? And I run out and I kiss Clive on the lips.
Yeah, dude.
I gave him a little.
Yeah. that made his.
He always smelled good. Clive smelled really, really good, and I loved him. And I kissed him. I didn't kiss him on the lip. I kissed him right on the cheek.
It's okay. We did take a literal.
If you had to pick your favorite song from Libertad, what would it be?
Oh, I
love that album.
I like Grave Dancer.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you know what's a trip about that record? We were working with Rick Rubin for like a year, and then Rick was right in some ways. I think he was like, "You guys, I don't hear the songs yet. I think you need to keep writing," and that's kind of what he does with the Chili Peppers. He makes them write forever until they got the songs, and then he says, "Okay, we can make the record." And in Rick's defense, and looking back in retrospect, we could have had a couple better songs. Probably. We could have kept... Because the thing about being in a band like Velvet Revolver is you got to have an album that's successful to have the legs of a tour. Meaning, when we had Contraband, we were able to go out and we were playing arenas. We were like, bam, we're on, it's happening. And then the second record, things started to slow down. And we went out on tour with Alice in Chains, and not as many people were coming to the show. So then the band morale got a little low. And then Scott got the dangling carrot from the STP camp, and he ran off with those guys, and that was basically what happened. So that was unfortunate because there was a few things that happened. I think a lot of it was us not making sure it was the right single. You know how it is in the record business.
Yeah.
Everything's got to be done just perfect. And
there's no perfection.
Yeah, the first record we were fired up like kids though. When we did Contraband, I remember being like, feeling like I was 25 again, going, we have an opportunity to resurrect ourselves as musicians with a new project, and we were fired up like kids. And we went out and we just pounded the press. There wasn't anywhere you could go where you didn't see our picture on a magazine and we did like 2 weeks in Europe. We did 2 weeks in Japan. We did a whole cross the United States promo.
And you just warmly embraced the press the first time around.
Yeah, we just pummeled them. We
pummeled them. No, the GNR time, you avoided us.
Well, we had Arlette
Rip Magazine had access because of Del James.
Yeah.
But when you got huge, you didn't want to talk to anybody.
Well, Arlette
anymore.
Varick, remember her?
Yeah, Arlette Varick.
Yeah, she was a lot of fun. And, she's, remember when we did Spin Magazine?
Yeah.
The sweatshirt that you're wearing.
Look at my sweatshirt, dude.
Speaking of that.
That's badass. That's worth some dough right there. That's in good shape. Do you ever wash that?
I had it on eBay for a while. Nobody bought it.
Do you use like this?
I bathe in lavender Epsom salt. Dude, it's in the desert. It's good for you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love the desert.
I'm trying to get peaceful, man.
It's beautiful, the desert.
It is.
I wrote half this album in the desert.
Yeah, I know. Joshua Tree.
Yep.
I went there. I went to the Integratron.
Oh, yeah. I went right by that.
Dude, you got to go in it.
Well,
you get sound bathed.
Yeah, well, check it out. The guy that actually built that.
Dude, he got on advice from aliens. He's a physicist.
Yeah, and he was taken out by the military.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories.
There's a movie there.
Dude, the Integratron was amazing. Dan
and you know
Seawitz took me
did you
there.
know it's acoustically perfect?
It's acoustically perfect. There's a video.
You guys got to go.
There's a YouTube clip of George.
Want to go right now?
Of George Lynch. There's a YouTube clip of George Lynch playing his guitar inside the Integratron, and he's
beautiful.
walking around.
I
and he's
drove right
collecting
by
notes.
that to go to Giant.
It's a dome.
Have you seen Giant Rock?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
What's this? Josh Homey told me to go to Giant Rock.
I went to Giant Rock. I filmed my new video, which will be coming out.
I know Giant Rock.
Okay, so we go to Giant Rock. It was the largest rock in the world until that piece fell off.
Yeah.
There's massive piece fell off of it.
Yeah.
Now there's another bigger rock
It's
somewhere.
bigger than Ayers Rock?
That rock's the biggest now, I think.
Bigger than Ayers Rock in Australia?
I think that's the biggest now. But this rock was bigger until this piece fell off.
Are we going to sit here and argue over the size of rock?
Yeah. Are they bigger than...
Mike, do you have a big rock song to play right now? Something big? A big rock song?
Some Scorpions.
Some Scorpions.
Rock you like a hurricane.
How about some GNR?
How about some GNR? Thank you very much. Woo! It's Energized Lawn Friend Podcast. Yeah. Energize the Lawn Friend Podcast. The tribal, muscular, powerful beat being kept on that legendary track from the Use Your Illusion quadruple assault.
I haven't heard that one in a while.
Locomotive, Guns N' Roses. Thanks, Matt.
If I had to play that right now, I'd be like, huh? How did that go again?
Where did that jam at the end come from? That, like, Can You Hear Me Knocking sort of, you just start grooving.
You know, the thing that was cool about when we did those records is there was really we never had any design of any sort. We just, a lot of times when we wrote those songs, Axl hadn't done a vocal yet.
Mm-hmm.
So we would, like, do these kind of long-winded instrumental things, and then Axl put a vocal on later. And me and Duff and Slash on that one had that kind of groove happening.
Yeah.
And Izzy played a lot of shake. I loved Izzy's shakers because Izzy played cool percussion.
Mm-hmm.
He was like the guitarist that was so into the Stones and all that kind of stuff. So his feel was just like kind of loosened everything up a little bit. But I remember we just kind of kicked into it and we left it. And there was no like editing or anything going on. Those were all real live performances, no click tracks. So it was a gas,
Totally.
Yeah, and like 5 guitar solos. Like, oh, hey, man, just do another guitar solo. And those are the days when Slash would play the solos like live with the band. And then sometimes he'd go and do overdubs. And then I remember in those days, remember how shy he was.
Sure.
He you guys, I really don't want you to come down to the studio today because I'm going to do some guitars.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd go in the studio and he'd be like, get out. He didn't like playing in front of anybody.
Right.
In the studio, and you'd go in sometimes. And one day I went in and he was in the corner of the room with his eyes facing the corner. And he was playing like that because he didn't want anyone to look at him.
Right.
And he just did phenomenal guitars.
God, he got
the
into
melodic
some
stuff.
zones.
The melodic stuff that he came up with, like, especially like November Rain and Estranged and those epic solos that just, wow.
Yeah, and this almost brings us all the way back. Get this, ready? I'm ready. How I put this all together.
Yeah.
Estranged, dolphins swimming in front of the fucking Roxy on Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
And we're back to mammals.
That wasn't cheap.
That wasn't cheap. So what
that
was
that dolphin scene was my entire album budget on this solo venture of mine, and video budget.
Oh my god.
And PR budget. And
was that Andy Morahan's concept?
No.
Who wanted dolphins swimming in front of the rainbow?
I'll tell you what happened. That was a trilogy of videos.
Yeah,
right?
it was. Yep.
Originally, when I joined the band, November Rain and Strange were one song, if you can imagine.
Yep.
And first of all, I said to the band, "What's up with the fucking piano?" I was like, I want to rock. I was like, pianos. Where are we going?
Well, the Elton influence was hitting hard then.
Elton,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
So we had this double song, this song that we cut in half, and then the other part of that trilogy was Don't Cry.
Yep.
So we made the Don't Cry video, which was the second single off Use Your Illusions, which we jumped straight into the ballad, and then we came back with November Rain later, and then, okay, now we're 30 million record sales in after a 2.5-year tour, and Axl says, "I want to make the final trilogy video." And we're all like fucking purple, and I'm like, my hair is like I'm so electrified from the tour. My hair is like, and Duff's like a whole different human being, and we're like, video? Why? And he's like, because we have to finish the trilogy, and this is gonna be epic. We're like, wow, we thought that last video was pretty epic.
Yeah, it was.
How much more epic can we get? Well, we can get really epic because this time we're going to rent a super tanker.
Oh, no.
And we're going to rent a helicopter, and you're going to be in it. And I've decided that you're going to be the one that saves me in the video. I said, how did you decide that? Well, my psychic did. Swear to God, true story. He put a bunch of pictures down on a table. And
all right.
Then this woman pointed to it.
That was his process.
And
respect.
And he said, and she said, "That's the guy right there." And he said, "Matt, okay. So if you watch Estranged, I save Axl.
I never knew that. I'm gonna go back and watch
The
it.
drummer glows.
I'm in this fucking Coast Guard helicopter off the coast of Galveston, Texas, in a real Coast Guard helicopter, and Axl's late for the shoot on this fucking real super tanker that we rented. And I land on a fucking oil rig with the helicopter because we got to land because we're just fucking hovering around waiting for Axl. So we land on this oil rig, and I'm out on one of those oil rigs hanging out with these oil dudes. Going like, they're like, dude, the drummer from Guns N' Roses fucking on our oil rig. Right? So finally, swear to God, true story, the final shot of the video is me flying by in the Coast Guard helicopter, and he jumps from the super tanker, which actually we shot the scene of him jumping right over here at fucking Paramount Studios with another built super tanker thing with Axl jumping, and then we got a stunt dude to jump the full distance. That's up there. Whoa. And then I fly over, and I go, "Get up," and we drop it down, and then you see Axl's tennis shoe float to the bottom. Yeah, remember?
Yeah, dude.
And that was it.
But this most striking visual to me was dolphins in front of the rainbow.
Yeah, and hey, check it out. Another piece of trivia about that video. The scene where Slash comes out of the water.
Yeah, rises like Jesus.
We shot that in the Jaws tank at Universal.
Right on.
And we're like, you got to move the shark. Because we got to put Slash there. That was fucking expensive. Like, they're like, wait a minute, man. We don't move the shark for anybody. We're like, well, how much is it going to cost?
Spielberg has to make that call.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're like, wait a minute, man. Because if you go to Universal Studios and you're in that little train and the shark comes up, that's where Slash came out of the water. So we put him on that thing and shot that. And then the other scene of Duff in the rowboat, which wasn't a good idea because he'd been drinking that day. We shot that in San Diego in one of these fucking tanks that you go in, like it's a simulator of the ocean. It's a real ocean simulator with waves and shit.
Right on.
And we throw poor Duffy in.
Oh, no.
And like, okay, Duff, you're gonna get in that boat, and we're gonna make some waves. Do you remember him rowing? Watch the video. It's some funny shit going. And then we shot another scene there of me in the Coast Guard helicopter. But we had to hire real Coast Guard guys to make sure that I wasn't acting out of Coast Guard regulations. Because Coast Guard guys, I was like, he's down there, save him, get him. And they're like, no, we wouldn't do it like that. We wouldn't do it like that. we would be calm. I'm like, but that's not very cinematic. I want to animate this, to be very visual. And they're like, no, but we do it calm, and we can't have the Coast Guard representative. Like,
oh, shit.
Swear to God. True story. So when you do a picture with any of these names representing these great agencies, like the Coast Guard or the Navy, they have guys that are like, no.
Quality control guys.
We don't do it that way.
They have like the quality control dudes.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'm like, I'm like,
protecting the brand.
Get Axel. He's down there. Get
My
Axel.
buddy is the opium expert on Boardwalk Empire.
Your buddy's the opium expert on Boardwalk. Steve Cohn, share that with us.
Yeah, Stephen Martin over in Thailand.
I love Boardwalk Empire.
He's got the single biggest collection in the world.
Of what?
My friend, of opium and collectibles and arts and
opium culture?
Culture, yes.
And
I was in the den.
You were in his den.
And I partake.
In Thailand?
Yes, sir. Northern Thailand.
Northern
yes, sir.
Thailand.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's crazy. You go very far out in like your energized terrestrial trip.
Oh, dude.
You know who else spent some time over there is my friend Steve Jones.
Jonesy.
He
Jonesy from the Sex Pistols.
Google Steve. You'll read the story. He wrote a book. That
He
was
was
the
in
guy I
there for
told you
6
about.
months.
He was?
Just doping up.
He's
man.
been in it for years.
Jesus.
10 years. He wrote a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. I told you about him. Steve Martin.
Oh, Steve Martin.
Yeah.
But Jones didn't write a book.
Jones, he didn't write a book.
No, he doesn't
Steve wrote a
write.
book.
He doesn't even write a grocery list.
Yeah, Haagen-Dazs.
He
Yeah,
writes.
that's that whole culture is pretty interesting. The whole Boardwalk Empire thing's fascinating to
Time
me.
in America, opening scene, Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I love the whole
That's
concept.
where you are. 1800s, old Oriental, smoky room.
Jeez.
Oh, it's heavy.
Yeah, well, the
Heavy.
Chinese were brought over here mainly for the railroad and everything, and then when they came over to build the railroad, along with that came the opium. Yep, it's true.
As the dude said to Walter, these aren't the guys that build the fucking railroad, Walter.
Yeah, no, but they had a lot, Yeah, it's very true. That's where that culture came from.
Pictures.
What are
2, 3,
these?
4. That's the den.
Oh, the opium. Oh, they have Buddhas?
4 pictures. Slide. Yeah, it's all
Jesus.
all his collectibles in his room.
Fuck.
That's the oldest, most comprehensive one in the world. This room.
Dude, what's the farthest away place? Farthest away from American modern civilization, the most foreign and odd and otherworldly place you ever visited or played?
Right, check it out. This is the way you
Steve,
lay down.
I'm asking him a question.
Oh, God, I've played some trippy ones. I was really tripping on Czechoslovakia when we played there with Guns N' Roses because we went to Czechoslovakia in '92, right after the wall came down.
Right.
So we're in Czechoslovakia, and you still, like, I'm in my hotel, and I hear, what was that? It was like, oh, they're just kind of cleaning up some mess, a little bit of, political
Cleaning up.
refuge. So I'm literally in Czechoslovakia, like right after the wall. And the trippiest thing was we had the only 2 limousines in that town at the time in Prague. And they were these old limos from like the 70s, right? And we went to this bar, and the people were just opened up to to be able to kind of be free, and we went to this. I remember me and Slash and Duff went to this sex club.
Ooh.
And it was so weird because the people had been really sort of, held down.
Yeah, stifled,
and
repressed.
and everyone was kind of sitting around like, what do we do? And this girl came out, and she started, everyone's like, ooh. And I remember we had beer. We had the Pilsner Uruguay,
Right.
which was like a quarter. I remember thinking how cool that was. And that tour was incredible because it was so new. The people had just gotten rock and roll, and they had just gotten their first concert.
Yeah.
And we played the biggest stadium in Prague. It was like 100,000, and Soundgarden opened for us.
Oh, yeah. I
And it
remember.
was insane. But another place that was cool that I went on that tour was Istanbul, Turkey. And I went through the streets of Istanbul, and I wanted to buy a rug. So I'm like, I'm in Istanbul. I better buy a rug. So I'm walking, and this guy says, we have rugs. Come here. We have rugs. I go, I like that rug. He says, $10,000. I said, is that rubles? Or is that like, he's like, so I talk him down from like 10. He sees me. I'm like, obviously an American.
A
dude.
mark,
And
yes.
you know what I used to do when I traveled, though? He'd say, "Where are you from?" I'd say, "I'm from Canada." Because if you go, "I'm an American," they go, "Ha ha ha! I've got you. I'll take your money." So I say, "I'm from Canada." They go, "Where's that?" It just kind of threw him off. And he says, "Well, it's 10,000 US, but since you're Canadian, I can make it 3,000 US." Swear to God. And then I go, "I'll give you 1,000." He goes, "Okay." Right? So I got this fucking rug. It's still in my house. It's like a 9x12, huge. I throw it over my shoulder, and I'm walking through the streets of Istanbul.
Yeah, with the rug.
With the rug. And I'm like, fuck. Now I got a rug. I'm in Istanbul. I got to get this back to L.A. Luckily, we had our own jet.
Yeah, you had your own jet.
Ask Duff. Ask Duff about the Matt Storm Istanbul rug story. So I come to the plane. I'm like, "Dudes, I got a rug. Check it out." I swear to God. I fucking put it on the plane. And
it took up half the cabin.
It's still in my dining room. It's a beautiful rug. It's made in Istanbul by Istanbul people.
The story.
And
the story.
But that was beautiful.
Is what's valuable.
And also Greece we played. And we played Israel.
Oh, yeah.
We played Israel. And that was another story where you hear, I go, "What the hell was that?" They go, "Oh, don't worry. It's way up on the North Bank." You know what's hot about Israel? Like the chicks had machine guns. It was so sexy. I mean, they were hot. They were very well endowed, toting like full Uzis.
Wow.
You're like,
Did you
my
hook
God,
up?
I better sort this woman out or is she going to fuck me up?
Did you hook up with the Israeli military chick?
Girls in Israel are beautiful. Ask Gilby Clark. He's married to a girl.
Yeah, he is. And she does jeans.
Yeah. Yeah. So Israel, check it out. So I go, okay, well, I better go to the Wailing Wall. So I go to the Wailing Wall. I go to Jerusalem, and I'm walking through there with our entourage of folks. And this, and all the rabbis are over at the Wailing Wall, and they're doing this really cool vibe. And you put your wish in the wall, and this guy dressed in all white comes up to me and starts doing this whole thing and touching my head and speaking in tongues, and gives me this whole vibe. And I'm like, whoa, that was heavy. And everyone comes up to me and they go, "He only does that once a month."
You're special.
I'm like, what did he say? I mean, like, what did he say?
What did it mean?
He blessed you.
Yeah. Because you're the drummer, dude.
I said, thank God, man, because I'm the drummer.
That's
and
right.
I need some blessing.
That's right.
But I went out of there and I felt like, wow, I just got blessed by this heavy cat. And he was wearing all white. He was he was like the head rabbi. And that was a really I mean, I've had so many amazing experiences. I've been so many crazy places,
I think drummers have always been the member of the band that has the least issues and the greatest capacity for cool and calm. That's what I think. Because they got it all out of their systems, hitting they were hitting stuff when they were little.
I think so.
And it's tribal too, dude. I mean,
Well,
that's
I'm
the
ve-
earliest music is the pounding on the rocks.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in that kind of a thing. I needed that outlet, and I saw Ringo Starr.
Yeah, Ringo, man.
And
Happiest.
that was it. I saw his scarf around his neck and his rings, and he was
Dude,
like,
you did something with Ringo.
I did.
Tell us.
Well, I can't divulge all the information, but I'm just going to say this.
Okay.
I shot a video with my idol, Ringo Starr.
Wow.
And not only that, I can't say what it is because it's top secret. It's going to be rad. You guys are going to be, your minds are going to be blown.
Dude, Ringo and Matt Sorum, the synergy there is rad.
But
Feels
Ringo did a video for my album. If you go on YouTube, pull up Ringo, Matt Sorum, he just blessed me with this incredible endorsement of my album, Matt Sorum's Fierce Joy, on iTunes and Best Buy and Amazon. And he blessed me with this crazy video that he just launched on his own for no apparent reason, except for the fact that he just wanted to do it. And I've known him.
He can.
And I've known him a little bit, and it's weird when you're like talking to a Beatle. I don't even know what to say. I'm like,
Hello, Beatle.
Do you still have your Beatle boots? Like, I'd actually said that to him, and he's like, yeah, I do.
He was so.
You know,
I met him.
Yeah.
He was so cool. Luke introduced me to him in Santa Cruz.
Well, Luke gets to play with him every night.
Every
man.
night.
It's
Want to meet the
awesome.
boss? He's really in good spirits. I go, yeah. Because there's no industry here. There's nobody. It's just come on in. I'll introduce you to the boss. Called him the boss.
Yeah.
And Ringo's my friend Lon. I went to high school with him. He used to run a metal magazine called Rip. And Ringo goes, Rip, heavy metal, like Dave Mustaine.
Is that what he said? Whoa, he knows Dave Mustaine. That's heavy.
And I said, yeah, I knew him like long time, man, since like 87. He was in my magazine a lot. He goes, yeah, Dave Mustaine.
Wow.
And I go, cool. And then a few other words are exchanged, and it was really surreal. And then I pulled Luke aside after. And I go, Luke, did I just talk to Ringo Starr? Dave Mustaine? He goes, yeah, man. It's a sober thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what he says to me the
Very
other day?
simple.
You know what he
It's a
says?
sober thing.
I'm on Fox 11 News the other night, like 5 o'clock, the show that nobody watches, right? Right? Like, and I'm on there, right? And I see Ringo a couple days ago, and he goes, I saw you on the news. Oh, no. And I know that you said hi to me because at the end you gave the peace sign. I knew you were speaking to me. I went, well, you're tripping me out right now, right? I had another experience with this Beatle, Paul. I'm at A&M Studios, right? I'm there recording with the Cult, the Beyond Good and Evil album. I'm in Studio B, and Paul's doing an album in Studio A with the band that he's got now. And I'm standing there, and he's talking to Richie Sambora, who hangs out there a lot, and that news reporter guy. And all of a sudden, Paul starts walking towards me, and he's got his hand out, and he goes, I know you. And I go, no, but I know you. and then he goes, how do I know you? And I go, well, we covered a song of yours, Live and Let Die. He goes, that's not it. And I go, oh, God, the Cult. He goes, the Cult, my favorite band. Swear to God. Right? So check it out. So then I'm sitting in the lobby. Paul comes out, and there's another piano in the lobby of A&M Records. And Paul starts playing Let It Be on the piano. Standing in front of me. It's Paul and me. Right? And he's playing. He goes, this piano will do. Change it with the other one. Right? So he changes the piano. Then we're around the corner for 4 days working on a mix for a song called War off Beyond Good and Evil. Paul McCartney walks in the mix room with Bob Rock wearing a Cult t-shirt.
Shut up.
Ask Billy Duffy. He goes, hey, let me hear what you boys have put together. Right? So Paul sits down. We play him the mix. We're all freaking out. We're like, I did tinkle a little bit. I tinkled. And then Paul goes, let me hear what you got. So we play him the mix. And you know War, you know that album?
Yeah.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
It's like, right? And Paul goes, it's all too clean. Can you dirty it up a little bit?
Yeah.
He says, just dirty it up. Yeah. And then he gets up and walks out.
Yeah.
And we're all like, what?
What did he mean?
He said, dirty it up a little bit.
What does that mean, Paul? Come back.
We fucking got like every distortion box known to man. We're putting it on the hi-hat. Like, we got like, and then we've got all this like, just like sounds of dirt on the track. And we're looking for Paul to get him to like okay it. We can't find Paul, so that's the mix that's on the album. It's Paul's mix, what we call Paul's mix.
Oh my God, that's
and,
priceless.
But right after that, fucking Zach Wilde comes in the studio, holding 2 beers.
Yeah,
he'll dirty it up.
Right, check it out. He goes,
out.
He goes, fucking lay, come on. He's like a mountain man. It's like him and a herd of buffalo.
Call of the Wild.
The Vikings return.
He spills both beers on the fucking console.
No.
It's like the whole thing goes. It's like.
Oh, the price.
Yeah, we got the mix though for that song, but then he completely torched the desk. We had to get the whole thing. You don't pour liquid in electronics.
Wow, dude.
That was the Zach Wilde story.
That's a dirty story.
Yeah, it was that.
I want to hear another song from Matt's record, track 7. It's called Lady of the Stone. Matt Sorum sitting here with us on our first anniversary Energize the Lawn Friend podcast. I am so thankful, dude, for your presence. We're having so much fun.
Thank you. It's a good time to see you. You are a very good man. I miss drinking Jägermeister with you.
Dude, I haven't drank Jaeger in 20 years. That's how long we
Me
drank.
either.
20 years, dude. We drank Jaeger in D.C. at the Watergate Hotel. And then we hung out in your room and smoked.
And remember what I said? I said, fucking Richard Nixon, man.
You go, dude, do you know where we are? We're at the fucking Watergate Hotel, man. I go, I know where we are, man. It's weird because we represent a lot of things that were wrong with rock and roll. You know, like there's a lot of rebel, and we're at the Watergate Hotel, dude. The worst crime ever in politics was committed
You know,
here.
I spoke at Capitol Hill recently. Did you read that about me?
No, dude.
With Yo-Yo Ma. I was at Capitol Hill speaking about the arts. And I said, this is the coolest gig I've done since Madison Square Garden. Yeah, I was there. Google that shit.
What,
Check
are
it
you
out.
speaking to Congress?
I spoke to Congress. I lobbied for the arts, the advocacy of the arts.
Dude,
and
that's awesome.
The endowment of the arts, which is a travesty in America.
Yeah.
Other countries like Canada, they
support.
support artists, and you know, America not so much.
No.
So I went with this gentleman named Yo-Yo Ma. Check him out. He's pretty hot on the cello.
Cello, man.
And we hung out and we did this whole thing. But anyway, I love that whole political trip. But we were,
Watergate. Use your illusion. We had the police escort into the stadium.
That's right.
That night. Fucking
We played JFK Stadium.
JFK Stadium. RFK Stadium.
RFK. Robert.
Yeah, Robert. Yeah, that was crazy, dude.
That was,
I
the,
remember
beginning,
it
that
well.
was the very beginning of the tour.
Yeah.
First night, opening night, Metallica, Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
Good times.
That was the one time I had like a formal interview with Axl in the back of the car. And that's where he told me a lot of stuff.
Do you remember
about
the
being
after parties
sick.
on that tour?
A couple. I wasn't invited to that shit, dude.
Come on.
I wasn't.
It was
I was
open
the
to the-
most inside outsider.
Dude, you
but
could
I
have
was still an
been there and
outsider.
just couldn't find the tent. We had them.
I just couldn't find it.
We had them every night.
I know, man. There was debauchery all around me.
We had great parties, theme parties, actually.
Yeah, theme parties.
Hey, I'll tell you why I know this. Because, okay, we did 2 nights at Giant Stadium, and I went to see, I think it was Pink Floyd or something. And I went backstage, and this old janitor, this 80-year-old janitor came up to me, and he goes, "Hey, man, I love you guys. The best party I've ever seen backstage at Giant Stadium was you guys." Right?
You're known.
Some fuckers had played there.
Yeah.
We had ice sculptures, like sculptures.
I remember
with
those.
Like, we had a casino.
Oh, no.
And a jacuzzi.
Pinball machines.
Yeah, we had
Sort of.
We had a jacuzzi with chicks in it.
Yeah,
and like an
what? I
opium
didn't see
den.
that part.
We had an opium den, I think.
Opium den. God.
This song's called "Lady of the Stone."
Lady of the
This is
Stone.
a little different. This is about Mother Nature and what's going on with this crazy weather and shit.
Chemtrails in here? Maybe.
This is my take on drones and weather
Okay.
and the military sort of.
All right, we're back at Area 51.
This is some heavy shit. Check it out.
All right, Fierce Joy, Matt Zorn.
LA Radio Studio, Michael Stark.
What's going on?
Wow, look at this view.
Check it
Let's
out.
start with the view. What are we looking at here? This
The LA
is
Harbor.
From San Pedro, if you're local. San Pedro, if you don't know any better.
LA Radio Studio. This is it.
.com.
This is one of the few places where there's a radio studio that has such a beautiful setting. Most radio studios are in buildings with no windows in the middle of the city. But we have a very unique situation here because we are overlooking the water and it's gorgeous. So
Let's see the actual studio and then tell us what you do here. Besides radio,
here's
podcasting.
the studio itself. Well, I took classes at Cal State Long Beach in radio back in the 70s. Went to work at ABC Television, worked there for several years, then went to ABC Radio till I was laid off, and then I became a freelancer in '83, and I've been doing freelance radio work since until this project came about, and we're just happy to have this facility to do all kinds of creative things.
So if everyone visits your website, they could follow all the links to this LA studio.
LAradiostudio.com. LAradiostudio.com. LAradiostudio.com.
And there is the logo. Great logo.